everybody. It's episode 317 of PodQuest.
Hey!
It's Wednesday, September 16th, 2020. I am Chris. With me is Druten.
Hello.
Walnut.
Hello.
How you guys doing?
I'm actually doing not too bad. Not too bad.
I'm working.
Loser.
Oh,
Yay, 12-hour work days.
Who works anymore? You know what? I wouldn't mind having a few 12-hour work days, getting that overtime.
Oh, I don't get overtime.
Oh, that sucks. Then
Are
I
you
would.
salary?
Yeah. It's okay if it's like a couple days. Like, this is the first time I've worked like more than like 8.5 hours in a day.
You basically took a 40-minute break to watch the Sony thing.
So, yeah, I mean, pretty much.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't have to get on as early as I did this morning, but I knew I had stuff to get done this morning. And then I kind of had gaps throughout the day, but while waiting for people to send me shit.
Whereas for me, I played 7 Days to Die most of my work day.
I worked until about 12, and then I did other stuff until like 5.
Nice.
Well, I just didn't have anything to do after lunch. Like,
Yeah.
I was booked this morning. I made documentation for things. And
Yeah.
then I had nothing this afternoon, so I just kind of had my laptop next to me while I did other things.
That's basically what happened to me.
Yeah. So, without further ado, we finally know information about the PlayStation 5.
Guys.
Like useful information.
Guys, I just want to say I called this. I know none of you listened to Brose, but 3 weeks ago, when we recorded, because I promote this show at the end of every episode, trying to figure out what to, say we're going to talk about, I straight up said, you know what, I'm just gonna roll the dice, PS5 information's coming out, and we're gonna have pricing and stuff. I called
Good job.
this 3 weeks ago, but then I also actually tried calling it 6 weeks ago, but I was wrong.
So really, you just decided to say it every time and waited till you were right.
Yeah, basically every third week, when I have no idea what to promote for the show, what we're going to talk about, I'm just like, pricing, maybe? And I got
It's
it
got to
right.
happen. Eventually, it's got to happen.
Yeah,
Like, a broken clock is right twice a day.
exactly. So, it only took me 2 tries.
Which, I mean, like, 2 tries isn't bad.
No, not at all.
But yeah, so Sony had their 40-ish minute, stream thing today. They showed a bunch of games, some of them premieres of stuff that we have not seen yet. Others were just additional things that we have seen already.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know if this felt like this to you guys, but this very much felt like an E3 conference thing, more so than anything else any company has done, like, this summer.
I feel like this is what they might have wanted to put out for E3, around when E3 was going to happen, but then because the world was on fire, they decided to put out something different.
So, I don't know about that, because they were already, like, last year they didn't do anything for E3 either. They just did that kind of, like, lackluster state of play, like they did this year. But this definitely felt like some of their, like, more recent, E3 conferences where there wasn't really any, like, people. Like, you know, here and there, like, somebody popped up to say, hey, here's our game. But otherwise it was just trailer to trailer to trailer to announcement to trailer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like, everything else has just felt more like Nintendo Direct-y.
Yeah.
Like, between, like, the Ubisoft stuff, the EA thing, the Xbox ones. Like, this was the one... I don't know, this one just felt like it had the most production value, I guess. But, like, production value is not even the right word for it.
I see where you're coming from on that. I don't 100% agree that it felt very like 3-like, but it was definitely their most produced thing that they've put out.
So don't get me wrong. Not that it felt like something from E3. It felt like Sony's most recent E3 stuff. Like, think about not 2 years ago when they just showed those three or four games, but the year before where, like, Shawn Layden came out like twice, and it was just trailer. Like, it was very much in that vein. Like, there was no one talking, no one really showing things off. It was just, here's a trailer, here's another trailer.
I mean, I can't say if I agree because I don't really remember.
Fair.
I mean, I remember those last two in particular just because they felt so weird compared to what we'd been getting for, you know.
The only thing I can remember about PlayStation's E3s was the most recent one where they had the move from place to place Last of Us 2 stuff, and that was it.
Yeah, because that was 2018. That was where it was The Last of Us 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man, and something else.
Yeah, I didn't even know that Ghost, Spider-Man, and whatever else was in. I just remember The Last of Us.
Might have been Death Stranding. I think Death Stranding might have been the other one.
That honestly sounds about right.
Yeah.
And it's funny, that was 2018. One of those games came out in 2018. Two of them just came out this past summer.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they opened the show up with something that people had been speculating. Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
Which I've heard in the past, I think we might have talked about it, that it's rumored it's going to be very, like, Souls-like, From Software kind of, combat.
So I hadn't heard that. I don't know if you noticed it, but the combat to me looked a lot like 15's. Like the character kept kind of like doing Noctis's weird like teleport sort of thing.
I didn't see that. What I saw more along the lines of a cross between Final Fantasy VII the remake and a From Software like Souls combat style with dodging, timed dodging and attacks and things like that.
Okay, see, I didn't notice like the time dodging.
I mean, I did kind of see the, like, teleporty stuff, but, you know, I played so little of 15. Really not think about that?
I don't think I don't think it would be good to compare the combat style to 15, because 15 you sit there and hold one button and that's it. Like, there's no combos or anything. 15 you literally just hold a button.
I mean, we don't know what this combat's going to be. Hopefully it's more like 7 remake.
I would strongly hope they just pull off the 7 remake combat style if they're going to stick with this style, which it seems like they are, because that was a good combat style.
The thing is, though, most likely this is going to be its own take on, like, sort of the 3D action genre, because if you think about it, like, every Final Fantasy since 10, not including the 2 MMOs, like, they've changed up the combat. Like, before 10, it was pretty standard, turn-based. 10 is where they introduced the, like, you can swap your characters in and out and you see the attack order. 12 was the whole, like, gambit system and stuff. That's what it was called, right?
In 12, yeah.
Yeah. 13 was that weird system. I forget what 13's was called, but it was also, it was that sort of, like, you assign people into roles and they just kind of take care of those things, but it was still turn-based to an extent.
I really liked 13's battle style, where it was the turn-based, but you had the option of swapping out their class mid-combat, so that, like, that's where the strategy was. It wasn't necessarily, like, what abilities to use, it was, should I switch out to this or that class? And I really love that style.
Yeah, I think, actually, as far as 13 goes, I think they actually refined it really well for 13-2. Like, that game, I enjoyed 13-2. It was not perfect, it had a lot of problems. But I think, like, they actually did refine the combat a little bit better there. Mm-hmm. But then, like, you go from 13 to 15, where it was much more, like, action roleplay. And like you said, like, you really just had to hold in a button the whole time. And that was that. But, like,
it just, you know, it wasn't good.
There was a little bit of finesse you could have to it. The problem with that game was, like, the leveling up system was broken. So, it was very easy to just over-level yourself very early in the game to the point where you didn't actually have to fight.
And that's because they made the open world part of the game the very fucking beginning of the game.
Yeah.
And not, like, interspersed throughout. Like Final Fantasy 13 did it right, where, like, you have that linear story all the way until, like, chapter 13, where then you're in the open world stuff before you go to the final boss. In frickin' 15, you have all the open world shit, and then you get on the boat, and once you're on the boat, that's it. You have no other options.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I got vibes just with the way that the characters were moving of that combat. But like I said, I expect it to be something different, because you figure if this game is coming out in the next 2 years, because they didn't give a date, but I'm assuming like 2022, like holiday 2022, and it'll probably get delayed from there. This game's been in development probably since around the time 15 finished development, if not earlier, because it's got a different director. That I doubt there'd be too much overlap between the combat of this game and the combat of 7 Remake. they may have like collaborated a little bit and been like, hey, this is how we're doing it and this is what we're thinking, but I have a feeling it's going to kind of be its own monster.
Yeah.
And we did see like they were doing melee attacks, they were doing like Drew saw it too. There was sort of like these teleports, the way that like Noctis would like teleport to his blade. I couldn't tell if the character was teleporting to something or if it was more just like a Nightcrawler sort of like Bamf mechanic. Mm-hmm. They were casting like fireballs at one point, so there's definitely some different things you can do.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was just me or not though. I didn't think it looked it didn't look like a next gen game compared to some of the other ones.
It looked like a very good late PS4 game, but not a PS5 game.
Yeah, like honestly, I put on the outline, like, I thought it looked kind of like a 2016 PS4 game. Like, it doesn't look all that different from Final Fantasy 15. And
it seems like over at, like, Square Enix, they have problems with hair. Because the hair is always very stationary. And it's the same with Avengers, even though it's Crystal Dynamics, it's still part of Square Enix. Like, the hair itself, like, it should be more flowy. And I miss, like, the anime-style crazy hair guys that they used to have in earlier Final Fantasies.
But I also feel like even some of the, let's quote-unquote, more recent Final Fantasies, because, I mean, 13 is still over 10 years old, like, the characters always looked, like, as good as the hardware could make somebody look.
Yeah.
And I feel like this one, at least right now, it's kind of like, that's your PS5 effort, guys?
Yeah.
Like, we have games coming out on PS4 that look better than this. Like,
yeah, I feel like they like started making this for PS4, realized the release window, and decided just to try to slightly optimize it for PS5 to make it run better, but not really look better.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. There was also, Drew, I don't know if you caught this. Drew, were you watching the Giant Bomb stream?
Yeah.
I didn't catch it, but I heard them say it. That at some point, like right before the trailer started, that it had a disclaimer of like running on like emulated hardware or something like that.
Yes, it did.
Yes.
So that wasn't, at least that trailer. I don't know how many of these. It was running on a PC that was probably spec'd out like a PS5.
That was the only one, because after that, there was a thing that said all footage from here on is taken directly from PlayStation 5s.
Okay, see, I was typing like if a trailer wasn't actively playing, I was typing a lot because I was typing up like things that were happening. So, but
I will say though, the giant freaking kaiju summons
Yo.
look pretty damn good.
Yeah, see, and like that's the one thing we can't really tell on a compressed stream, like all exactly the sorts of effects going on in that we're not really seeing, you know?
Yeah, like the lighting, reflection, like ray tracing, all that stuff, like could add a whole different layer to it. But like when they're showing like character faces and they're just like these weirdly flat, emotionless things, and then you have games like Last of Us Part 2 where like those character faces emoted.
Like look at even friggin' the and I know I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but the friggin' Harry Potter game that they showed, the landscapes in that to me looked better than the landscapes in the Final Fantasy game.
No, they definitely did in that. I feel so. I mean, to be fair, that game definitely looked a little more. It was not cartoony isn't the right word, but it was definitely had a more animated aspect to it.
Yeah,
it was also brighter a lot of times.
Yeah.
Whereas that Final Fantasy trailer was very dark.
Yes.
Like the lighting was just very dark.
It looks like it's going to have a super dark kind of political theme to it, which is one of the reasons why I never really got into 12. But I'm super interested in this. Like, it looks so good.
It looks like it went back to fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
There were no cars that I saw.
Yeah.
So probably no Stand By Me covers either. Sorry. They all sounded British and they looked very European.
Mm-hmm. Like the castles were even very European. There was no like sort of like technology in pretty much anything that they showed for this.
Yeah,
which
it did.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it did look way more like European fantasy than I think even like the older fantasy themed Final Fantasies did.
Yeah,
because like going back and like obviously like the Super Nintendo and PS1 era stuff. You're really kind of basing things more off of the concept art than in-game, because in-game the characters don't really look like anything particular, because they're just tiny little sprites and like polygons and shit.
Yeah.
But But I feel like in this, they all looked very this is what people dressed like in 1642.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which isn't a bad thing.
No, it's kind of, I mean, I'm a little more intrigued because it's going to, a fantasy style.
Yeah, I'm all for the fantasy. Final Fantasy IV is my favorite one. And that's very much like a medieval fantasy-ish setting with just a little bit of, the steampunky stuff with... airships. Airships are always in Final Fantasy games.
Yeah.
But I just thought this one, it just looks a little bit more oh shit, this is, straight up, medieval times. What team am I on? The red team, the black team, the green team?
Fucking green. Never gave me that rose.
They confirmed there are crystals involved in this game.
Oh, yeah.
We saw chocobos also.
I mean, there's always sort of crystals involved in every game in some mention or way.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was a joke more than anything. Yeah. It's console exclusive to PlayStation, which means it'll probably be PC.
No, it definitely will be PC. You probably didn't notice at the bottom it says will release on PC.
I did not see that. No.
At some it's kind of when they said released on PlayStation exclusive, there was an asterisk, and at the bottom of the screen said will also release on PC.
That honestly, I was probably typing when that came up. So like I said before, there's no date given, so we don't know when it's due out. The earliest is probably Q4 next year, so holiday 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said before, I'm thinking more holiday 2022, and it'll probably get delayed for it'll get announced for that, and then delayed till spring, and then delayed again, and probably one more time.
Yeah.
And just to kind of put things in perspective, Final Fantasy 15 came out in fall of 2016, so it's been 4 years.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, which feels like 4 years, but I also thought it had been longer.
That's because Final Fantasy 15 wasn't good and took no time at all to beat.
See, I enjoyed 15 for the most part. I don't I don't look back on it as fondly as I do with the others because I didn't have to put nearly as much time into it as I did the others.
Yeah.
And frankly, your team, you never kind of get as attached to them as you do every I got more attached to the fucking side characters in 7 Remake than I did to anybody in fucking Final Fantasy 15.
But that's because they wanted fucking DLC. So they're we're gonna have the DLC come out where you play as the side characters in their story and you feel an attachment to them now. And it's well, you can't release mid-game DLC after the game fucking comes out.
I mean, you can, it just, you see how well it does.
Exactly.
But, so after that, they showed, some Miles Morales Spider-Man, which, it looks real pretty. I don't know if you guys noticed when they were walking through that little Christmas village, which also the game is set at Christmas time, it appears.
At least there
were a lot of puddles, and those puddles had reflections.
We'll see if they're there in the final game.
Yeah. Who knows? Ray tracing won't let it or something. No,
So, they didn't appear to give a name to the friend he's walking with in the beginning there, but I'm curious if it's going to be Genki like the comics or Ned like in the MCU. It's
probably Genki because it's Miles and not Pete.
Oh, that's true. Fuck, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, I like the concept of this one. That it is a year after.
Yeah, so he's been training for a while now because you get confirmed that he's training with Pete during the DLC.
Yeah, and he has his Venom Blast and can go invisible and everything. So he's got all the powers that Miles has. It's not he's still, and I'm sure he's probably still developing them and stuff. But he is the Miles that you would know if you read comics.
Exactly, and it's one of those. He's putting him a year into it, just like with the Spider-Man game. You're not picking up Spider-Man right where he got his powers.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Miles Spider-Man, he's been doing this for a week. The dude doesn't know how to throw a punch yet. You see, he's been doing this for a year. He knows how to handle himself for the most part. Also, did anybody else think that the bad guys looked like Cade 6, but with Watch Dogs aesthetics?
No.
Sure, maybe a little bit. Watch Dogs 2 anyway.
That one main bad guy looked like Cade 6, but he had the leather jacket hoodie combo that the Watchdog characters have. That's what I thought as soon as I saw him.
Sure.
I didn't really see that.
But yeah, like you said, he's got all the moves. The combat looks like it did in the last one, and that combat was fun, so I don't see a problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
They said at the end of the trailer that it's a holiday launch. Jeff Keighley got out on Twitter after this thing and confirmed that it was it's launching November 12th in the US and November 19th everywhere else. Which matches up with the PlayStation 5 launch.
Yeah.
It's also releasing on PS4, and it looks like it's going to be $49.99.
They probably had to say holiday because Sony wanted to announce the release date of the PS5, so they didn't want to have games have a release date before the Sony PS5 release date was announced.
Exactly. But I mean, oh yeah, you know what, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we know now that is at least a launch title.
Mm-hmm. And it's, what was I I have two questions for this game. Number one, where's Pete? It's been a year. At the end of Spider-Man, Pete and MJ went on vacation, but if it's been a year, they should probably obviously be back by now. And number two, where are the fucking Avengers?
So I think in the last game, didn't they write it off that, like, the Avengers were, like, busy?
Yeah, but it's been a year.
Yeah, but so the Avengers are Earth's mightiest heroes. They're not New York's mightiest heroes.
I understand that, but, like, I'm sure there's, like, I'm sure there's more than 6 Avengers, I'm sure. Like, they have an established universe that the Avengers are part of this universe. They've referenced, they've referenced, like, Daredevil and things like that. This takes place in Harlem, so it's probably going to be Luke Cage. But, like, at the end of the thing, the bridge is falling apart. Is it because they're handling a bridge out in San Francisco? Or, like...
No, I mean, like, let's be real, like, the heroes, I mean, honestly, like, there aren't a lot of speedster heroes in the MCU. Like, there's, like, Quicksilver and a handful of other ones. But, like, it's not like they all can run at super speed and just appear places. But it's just like in the comics, you know? A giant fight's happening for miles in New York City. There's no other heroes around. Like, it takes time, like, you figure, the news isn't reporting on it immediately. By the time it hits the news cycle, then the heroes are seeing it. If they're in New York, they'll head that way. But, like, really, by the time it's kind of done, that's probably when most of the heroes would show up anyway, because they have to get there.
I mean, I don't know.
But, like that's how the comics go, too. Like, in an Avengers comic, yeah, like, the Avengers are fucking together, but they're almost never dealing with stuff in New York City. I mean, their base isn't even in New York City anymore. It's in the skull of a dead Celestial.
I mean, yeah, that's in but in this game, I almost said show, in this game, Avengers Tower is in New York.
But even in the comics, when Avengers Tower was in New York City, and that was their base of operations, they didn't show up to every major fight that happened in New York City, because like I said, they're Earth's mightiest heroes. Like, you have to assume in this world of superheroes and supervillains, there is always something happening somewhere. And all those heroes have their solo rogue galleries too.
But, like, also, what the fuck would Hawkeye be doing? He's probably just sitting at the tower anyway. I'm sure he could have showed up and helped Miles.
So, like, Hawkeye lives on Long Island.
Look, I'm just trying to be funny, Cobb. Just let me be goddamn funny.
It's not funny, though.
It would be.
Don't shit on Hawkeye.
Stop overanalyzing shit.
Don't shit on Hawkeye. He's got a building to run. He's got a dog to feed pizza. You leave that man alone.
I mean, that's in the 616 universe, not in this universe.
I mean, look, we don't even know if Hawkeye exists in this universe. He could be Ronin. He could just be fucking murdering people as a ninja.
He could be.
But I am sure Pete will show up in this game just like Miles was in the last game.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling, like, because this is a Miles story, and it's a $50 game, so it's not going to be as all-encompassing as Spider-Man was.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't expect to ever play as Pete. Like, I expect him to show up and maybe be, like, there as you're dealing with, like, as, like, your, like, backup, essentially, like him fighting with you or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, I'm not expecting to play as him, but more so just, like, the idea of, I'm sure in New York City, where a ton of heroes are based, and there's a bridge falling apart, which some of them would have heard, especially Pete. Where were they? That's all I'm saying.
I mean, they probably showed up, like, 5 minutes after it was done, because New York's a fucking bitch to get around in. And, like, honestly, if that's a bridge up near Harlem, fucking Avengers Tower was at the south side of Manhattan. That's not a quick trip for anybody.
True.
Even fucking Spider-Man, that took a while to go from north to south.
Yeah, true.
Anyway, so after Spider-Man, there was the Harry Potter, Hogwarts Legacy game that's been teased for a while.
Yeah.
So, I'm kind of surprised that Sony went out with this because there's so much shit on J.K. Rowling right now.
Look, you're allowed to like Harry Potter and hate J.K. Rowling.
So I don't totally disagree with that. There are a lot of people that are kind of like out there online right now, like, she's pretty awful, and anything that's giving her money is giving her a voice to continue to be awful. Apparently her new book is basically just a giant, like, attack on, like, transgender people.
Look,
It's a guy dresses up like a woman to go kill women.
She is terrible, but this is a WB game. Like, WB owns the rights to Harry Potter. How much money is she actually making from this game that WB hired somebody else to make?
So I think she owns the rights to Harry Potter. Like, anything Harry Potter, she still gets a paycheck for.
Yeah.
I'd have to look into that. I don't really know.
I mean, at some point in the line, she made money off of it. Like, as far as I know, she has not sold. I mean, even if she, like, I don't think she's sold off the rights to it. She licenses it out.
Yeah, exactly. Like WB has the license for games and movies and TV and everything, but
like,
she
they
gets
don't own it.
That said, this game, like, it looks cool. You know, it's taking place in the late 1800s, so it's totally removed from all of the canon you may or may not know from that universe. And you get to kind of just be a Hogwarts student and deal with weird shit.
And I want to make a call to action to WB. There's more than one fucking school of wizardry.
Huh? No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Give me more of the world fleshed out. Give me the French school, or the United States school, or something else.
So they tried that with the Fantastic Beasts movies, and nobody likes them.
Because they're bad movies.
Ooh.
It's not because they take place in a different area or time period. It's because they're just bad movies.
Which you could argue it's because they take place in a different era and area.
Look, somebody turned around. Like my sister's friend, when they went and saw the first one, it might have been the second one. I can't remember. They went and saw it. She didn't like it because it didn't have Harry Potter in it.
Yeah, I mean, that's stupid.
Exactly. I like Harry Potter. I'm a fan of Harry Potter. Fuck J.K. Rowling. I like Harry Potter. But, like, I want to know more about this fucking world, and not just fucking Hogwarts.
So, I think the problem is, like, Rowling, because Rowling has the rights to this stuff, they're probably not allowed. It's just like with Star Wars when Lucas owned it. They're not allowed to explore eras or areas that she may want to explore someday. Because that's basically when, I don't know how much you guys know about, like, the expanded universe for Star Wars, but it was basically post-original trilogy, people were allowed to write novels after the original trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
And the stories had to be approved by Lucasfilm, and they could take place anytime after Return of the Jedi. It wasn't until the prequels started happening that they could then start writing books that took place, like, prior to that era. And, like, there's also a handful of stuff that would fall between the prequels and the original trilogy that people were allowed to do, but people weren't allowed to write, like, prequel era stuff, and, like, Old Republic era stuff. All of that didn't come out until after Lucas started making the prequel movies, because he's like, all right, well, this is the era I'm going to focus on, so people can kind of fill in this backstory now. Rowling is probably doing the same thing. She's like, well, I'm not going to write any more of these books right now, but, you know, in 15 years, maybe I need another paycheck, so y'all can write about the 1800s, but you can't write present day or about any of the other locations, because I might expand on those someday.
Yeah, maybe. It's just, and like, it's just me. I'm sure there's not a lot of people who hate this fact that it's always focused on Hogwarts. But it's just like, I hate it when things waste all their time in one thing when there's a large world that they could build upon.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't want a game at a school that we know nothing about. Because at least with, like, a game based at Hogwarts even 100 years prior to what you see in the books and the movies, it's like, oh, like, I get this. Like, it's the castle, there's Hogsmeade, there's the forest. Like, I understand what this geography kind of looks like. I know what the castle involves. Like, I have ideas of things to expect.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what's going to draw, like, a fan into it. Like, you throw a fan in Durmstrang, the Bulgarian school, and they're just going to be like, I don't fucking know. It's cold. It's a lot of stone.
Yeah, maybe people need to expand their horizons beyond what they know and learn something new.
Also, I'm pretty sure that those two schools were all boy and all girl, whereas
Probably.
Hogwarts is co-ed.
Yeah, but I mean, again, there's also, I think, 2 or 3 North American schools.
Which, are any of them actually canon? Do you know?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, there is like a Ministry of Wizardry in the United States, at least.
Well, yeah, I mean,
So-
you see it in the first Fantastic Beasts movie.
Yeah, so it would somebody would have to teach them magic. I'm pretty sure they might have mentioned a school. I think the closest one to us would be in, like, actually Salem, because obvious. I can't remember, though.
But yeah, so it looked neat, but there was no real information about it. But we do know it comes out in 2021 at some point.
Mm-hmm.
It did not say holiday, so I have no idea.
Yeah.
Sometime next year, maybe. They showed some more Black Ops Cold War,
Apparently you can drive an RC car faster than a plane.
which this shit takes place in like the 80s. What fucking RC car did they have in the 80s that could fucking do that?
The one with fucking nitrous strapped to it.
I mean, apparently. Jesus.
I was sitting here watching this, and my sister works less than, or probably about 6 feet away from me. And I'm sitting here just like slamming my hand on the arm of my chair the entire time. And she's like, what? And I'm like, this fucking game's so stupid. You could
But
drive
you know what? That scene, that was fucking Fast and the Furious 6.
It was. And like, I hate for hating that scene because I love Fast and the Furious.
Only, you know what? It was more realistic. Because they didn't drive on that runway at top speed for 27 minutes.
I mean, yes, it was more realistic on that fact. But, I'm sorry, like, a soldier isn't gonna be that brutal with killing people. Like, I had such issues with that.
So, they're not soldiers. Like, they're like a Black Ops mercenary group. If you saw the trailer at whenever they showed the last Black Ops trailer where they were sitting in a room with Reagan, like, these are definitely, like, these aren't just like Marines or like Navy SEALs. Like, this is what they do. They're like the Black Ops, they get shit done team.
Yeah, it just, I don't believe, I cannot suspend the amount of belief that somebody is going to sit there, grab a human as a meat shield, shoot some people, unpin a grenade, give it to the person, and push them. That is not something somebody would do. And I'm just like, and some of the other, like, I guess stealth kills or like quick takedowns, to me, I'm just like, that's too much. Too much.
I mean, you're not wrong, but also, like, it looked cool.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But, like, none of us are in the camp of buying Call of Duty games either.
No,
Like, Drew is the closest.
And it's only for the multiplayer. I don't really give two shits about the campaign.
yeah,
I'm the polar opposite. If they ever did that, like, $20, $30 campaign only that people keep, like, wanting, I'd probably buy the campaigns just to check out the campaigns, but...
I used to get all of them just for the campaign because I liked the campaigns more. I wasn't really big into multiplayer that much back then, but now I'm just like, I don't care anymore. Like Call of Duty, I'm just over it.
Yeah, like, I would be happy to play through the campaign for like $30 tops, but it's one of those, like, those games are huge. I don't feel like dealing with the install. Like whatever the current one is, isn't it? It's over 100 gigs now.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you can't just install the single player, as far as I know.
Nope. You can't even install just the thing that is completely free to play, which is Warzone.
Yeah, so it's one of those, it's like, yep, even if that game was free on PlayStation Plus, I would never install it, because fuck that. I'm not going to delete every other game I have on my hard drive just to make sure that I have room for this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, Call of Duty. They then showed Resident Evil 8, Village, or swap that. I'm not sure if it's Village, Resident Evil 8, or which way.
I think it's supposed to be Village Resident Evil. I don't know, they're doing weird things with their namings lately.
I mean, they're doing the same thing they did with 7, where they have the number shows up, as the VILL from Village.
Yeah.
So there's a big spooky castle and a guy named Chris.
Well, it's Chris Redfield. It was
No, I know that.
Okay.
There are zombie monsters, and there was a weird claymation Tim Burton style, like, story scene, and that's about all we know.
Yeah, that was weird.
I mean, I'm gonna be totally honest. For the from Call of Duty through the next 4 after this, I kind of checked out because they were like pre-announced things that I didn't. Not that I don't care about Resident Evil, but like I've gotten enough of what I needed that I'm probably gonna get it. I still haven't played 7 anyway, but like,
Yeah, and
I didn't really care about this stuff because it was already announced and already shown to us.
That's
yeah,
fair.
like in this case, there was nothing new shown really, like, or nothing like valuable shown,
Yeah, nothing substantial.
and it comes out sometime next year. That's
Yeah.
all we know.
Yeah.
After that, it was more Deathloop, which I know just got delayed. It's due out Q2 of 2021. It's that like kooky FPS game from Arcane where you get to do whatever you want to get the job done in the sort of Dishonored Hitman-y style.
Yeah, but somebody's chasing after you, and every
Yeah, like
time...
the multiplayer is like another person drops into your game to come get you.
Yeah. The game looked cool back when they showed it, and it's still... I'm interested, but I'm not... I'm just like, show me new stuff. Show me what I'm here for.
Devil May Cry Special Edition. There were a lot of puddles. That's what I took from that. It's going to launch digitally with the PS5.
Hey, a launch game.
So is Spider-Man. We know that now.
Yes.
But I'm not sure if that means that it'll only be digital, or if the physical is just coming later and it won't be available at launch.
Well, isn't Devil May Cry 5 already out?
yeah,
it
this
came out
is
like
the
2 years
special
ago.
edition.
Yeah, so I'm assuming maybe it's just going to be all special. Or all digital.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. It's
Yeah.
just they didn't really specify.
True.
Yeah.
After that, it was Oddworld Soulstorm, which it's an Oddworld game. It has Abe.
I didn't know that this was going to be an Abe game.
I
I
mean-
did.
Abe, you can't say Abe is part of all the Oddworlds because I think
It
Munch's
was only like the
Odyssey.
first two.
Yeah, Munch's Odyssey, I think it was, didn't have him.
'Cause it was Abe's Odyssey and Abe's Exodus, if
Yeah.
I remember correctly.
Yeah, so I
Then
think
there was Stranger's Wrath, and like you said, Munch's whatever.
Munch's whatever. Like, I do remember them. I think they might have said that this is a direct sequel from Abe's Exodus. So, but like, I vaguely remember that. So I didn't realize that this was a specifically Abe game. So that's neat, but I've never really been into them.
Same here. Like it's got like it looks like it has like the same weird humor. They're very slow platformers.
Yeah.
That's an Oddworld game. They also showed a Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, which looks wild, but I don't know anything about these fucking games.
Yeah. I know next to nothing about them. Like, all I know is that, like, they take place kind of at a Chuck E. Cheese, but what they showed in this trailer, this is a fucking, like, Dave and Buster's.
Yeah, because I know that's what those games are. It's supposed to be like basically like a haunted Chuck E. Cheese where the animatronics come to life at night.
Yeah.
But the way that the trailer looked, it looks like this is definitely going to be much more of a game, whereas the little bit that I've seen of like the PC games that there's like 100 of, it's more like like an adventure game style, like 2D art, and you're sort of like monitoring things on security cameras and stuff like that.
I'm not sure. I've never really looked into the Five Nights games.
Yeah, I could be completely wrong. That's just going by like the little bit I've seen.
Like, I think they were episodic initially as well. Like, I think it was like night 1 through 5 as well. I don't know.
Yeah, might be.
I don't, like, I've never really been super interested in these games, but that game, I was like, alright, I mean, the area looks interesting, but I know nothing about it.
Exactly. And then we had Demon Souls remake. I mean, it's just called Demon Souls. Did either of you guys play the original ever?
No. The only FromSoft game I've played is Bloodborne, and I didn't really get too far into it.
Rich?
No, I've never played any of the Demon Souls, just Bloodborne.
Well, there's
Okay, so
only
we don't
one
really-
Demon Souls.
Huh?
There's only one Demons.
Well, it's Demon Souls, and then Dark Souls, and then Dark Souls 2.
And 3.
And 3? Yeah, 3 was fairly recent.
But so Demon Souls and Bloodborne were PlayStation exclusive. Demon Souls is not like directly connected to Dark Souls as far as I know.
No, Dark Souls was supposed to be kind of a sequel to Demon Souls.
But like Dark Souls went multi-platform.
Yeah, but like they're like even Bloodborne, they're all in the same universe.
Are they?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I didn't think they were.
They are so, like, archaic about getting information about the world that I wouldn't be surprised if they are or weren't.
I mean, that's what I was told by a friend who is a big fan of these games. I don't know if he was just, like, being, like, I guess, facetious, because, like, they're From Software games, and, like, they're basically the same style, so if you've kind of played one, you've, like, not that if you played one, you played them all, but, like, it's the similar feel type of thing. But, like, that's the only kind of Souls game that I have ever played would be Bloodborne.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I only played a little bit of Bloodborne, and I'm not good at these games, so I don't play them. I tried a couple hours playing Bloodborne, and I couldn't get past, like, even the beginning of that game, and that wasn't fun for me.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I'm good. I don't need this.
I'm interested in Demon's Souls. I've been honestly wanting to play Dark Souls, or Bloodborne lately, because it's the only, like, Soulsy game that I have, and I've just, like, had that, like, that itch to play something that's gonna piss me off. Or, like, and it's, like, super skill required, too, but, like, I don't have anything besides Bloodborne. I'm like, I have so much other shit I should play instead.
Yeah. But so, I mean, the remake looks really nice. Like, it's very pretty. It's also a launch title. Jeff Keighley got out on Twitter and confirmed that, too. He confirmed more about the PlayStation 5 than Sony did. So he confirmed several launch titles and when pre-orders would be available before Sony posted anything about any of them.
That may have been by design, for all we know.
It may have been, but it's also super weird because it's like I was looking at Sony's Twitter or PlayStation's Twitter, and they're posting things, and it's just constantly people going like, "How about pre-order dates? What are the launch titles?" Like trying to get any more information, and there's just nothing for it on there. And then, like, meanwhile, Keely's over on his Twitter, like, "Hey guys, pre-orders are tomorrow." But after the Demon Souls stuff, fucking Fortnite, because
shocking.
Yeah.
Well, hey, it just got taken off a platform, so the fact that it's coming to PS5, sort of a thing.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. So Fortnite will be on PS5 at launch. And then the next thing was actually pretty cool, and I read a little bit more about it after the stream. So they're adding this thing called PlayStation Plus Collection to your PlayStation Plus subscription. It's new. It's going to be a new benefit for PlayStation 5. It's basically like Game Pass, but for PlayStation, and it's a curated list of what they're calling genre-defining PS4 games. So it included games like Spider-Man, God of War, Monster Hunter World, Persona 5.
I wonder if Monster Hunter World includes Iceborne.
So it doesn't say that. So the PlayStation blog actually had like a nice write-up on everything they showed. But they just specifically say PS5 owners with PS Plus will be able to download and play a curated library of PS4 games that define the generation, like Batman Arkham Knight, Bloodborne, Fallout 4, God of War, Monster Hunter World, Persona 5, and many more. The PS Plus collection will be an added benefit to existing PS4 benefits, which I think that actually meant PS Plus benefits.
Yeah.
That PS Plus members receive for a single subscription price. That's the line that kind of confuses and worries me. Will this just get added to people's PlayStation Plus subscriptions if they have it? Or is this going to be something that gets the price jacked up higher, that you'll then have to buy like an upgrade to your subscription? They don't say that.
What? Read that statement again?
Just that last bit?
Yeah.
The PS Plus collection will be an added benefit to existing PS4 benefits that PS Plus members receive for a single subscription price.
Okay. Yeah, that's just vague enough to not necessarily mean what it should mean.
Yeah, because if I was going to word it that it existing, it would be for your existing PlayStation Plus subscription.
Well, if it has a reasonable number of games that I don't own, I'll add it to my subscription.
Yeah, the downside...
If the price is reasonable as well.
Yeah, the downside is I'm pretty sure I own all of those first-party PlayStation games. And all of the third-party games that I want, I own. Like, I don't want Bloodborne, I don't want Monster Hunter World, I don't want Fallout 4.
I own Bloodborne.
You own.
You do own Bloodborne.
Oh, is that a PS Plus game at some point?
Oh, yeah, like a year and a half ago.
Okay.
That's how you played it.
No, it's not.
How would you have played it then?
Redbox. No, you know what? I had a, $1 month subscription for GameFly.
Okay.
And tried it because it was right around. That happened right around the time that game launched. And I'm like, this game looks cool. It's going to be really hard. I'm going to be bad at it, but I'll try it. And I did, and I was bad at it, and I returned it and never touched it again. Obviously.
But like, also, to go along with something that you had said on our texter about like whether or not you're going to get the disc version or not of the PS4. You have this. You don't have to have two PS4s or a PlayStation 4 and a PlayStation 5 set up downstairs. You can have the PS5 set up downstairs and play all the games that you want. Like, as long if the price increase to have this is reasonable, I'm down for it.
If there even is a price
I don't know that there actually is, but the wording on that is definitely vague enough for there to be.
But also, the whole digital versus physical thing, it's not just like PS4 games, you know, like we were talking. There are cases where I still get physical games. Mm-hmm. Also, I have a lot of Blu-rays. I still buy Blu-rays. I like physical movies.
Don't you have an Xbox hooked up there?
Yeah, but honestly, what may happen, and like up front, this isn't an issue. But if they release a Xbox Series X digital edition, that is, say, the cost of the digital PS5, I would probably pick one of those up at some point. I don't want a Series S, but I don't need a disc drive on my Series X because I will basically exclusively use that for Game Pass, so it doesn't need any physical games. And yeah, so like at some point, like the PlayStation is what I play most games on, so like I'd like to have the disc drive for that.
Yeah, that's how I am. Like if I were to want a game, because you can't buy digital copies on Amazon anymore, if I were to want a game, I'm gonna put it on my wish list if I can't afford it at that time. Somebody buys it for me as a disc, and I don't have the disc reader. I can't fucking play that game.
Yeah, exactly. Like when it comes to like Christmas or birthdays, like Erica will ask me what I want, and I'll be like, "Hey, these two games came out, you know, earlier this year. I was interested in them, but didn't pick them up at the time because they weren't like priority. Like if either of these are like under X amount of dollars based on how long they've been out, grab these."
Yeah.
And, like, generally, she'll find them at, like, Walmart or something like that, and...
Yeah, or, like, potential, like, Black Friday sales, which, yeah, generally, sales happen on the PS5 as well, but, like, you might find that hidden gem, like, when you have nothing else to do and you're wandering around and you see a GameStop, you walk in, or a Walmart and you walk in. You have, oh, you know what? This is a really good deal and I haven't seen it on sale before. Let me get it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, especially right now, like, Walmart in particular is, I'm assuming, losing money by marking all of their games $10 cheaper.
Are they really?
I mean, every new game that I've seen at Walmart has been $10 cheaper. Like, a couple weeks after the latest Paper Mario came out, like this includes Nintendo games. I saw that it was only $49.99 at Walmart.
That's weird.
And we'll talk about this a little bit longer. But since a lot of next gen games are probably going to be $70, being able to go to Walmart for like a new game that I want, but maybe like didn't need day of, and get it for $10 cheaper, like I'll probably do that.
Yeah.
Because why the fuck wouldn't I, right?
Yeah.
But I like Drew was talking about this a bunch earlier. Like, I have definitely purchased more digital games over physical in the last, say, 2 years. But a lot of that has been like, oh shit, there's a really good sale. I can get all these games for like $30 total. And I buy like 10 games.
Yeah. And I mean, we've covered now actually like the question I was going to bring up. But like, yeah, I've in the last 2 years maybe bought 4 games physical and bought probably 8 digital, you know, plus the PS Plus games and all that. Like, if I get one, I'm probably not getting one that has a disc drive on it.
Yeah, which makes sense. And I've kind of come to the point where, especially like the last like 6 months, because like the world kind of fucking halted to a stop for a while there. A lot of like new games came out. I was buying them digital day of. So like Animal Crossing, which I almost never buy big Nintendo games digitally because I just don't trust Nintendo at all for that shit. But Animal Crossing, Final Fantasy VII Remake, and Last of Us Part 2, I purchased digitally day of because it's like, I don't want to have to go to the store and deal with all that, like, at the time where these games were coming out. Amazon's unreliable for pre-ordering. So it's like, alright, well, I can pre-order it digitally, it'll install the day before, and I'm just fucking good to go.
Yeah, like I've done over the past year, I've done a good portion of my purchasing of games digitally. But like I like to have I'm kind of in a similar boat as you, Cobb, where like I like to have movies, so I'll occasionally buy a movie here or there that like if it's not available anywhere, I have a Blu-ray I can watch of it. But like if I don't have a disc tray, and right now and for the foreseeable future, I'm working from home, I can only have one console set up at a time. So it's like, alright, I guess I'll have, or not one, but two, my Switch and whatever. So like if I get the disc tray, then I don't have to worry about like swapping out my PS5 with my PS4 just so I can watch a movie. Plus I'm running an old, a launch PS4, so now I can get that 4K shit going on.
Yeah, exactly.
It just, to me, it just, like, the difference of, because we actually haven't even said the price yet for either edition.
Yeah, so, you know what, let's move on to that real quick. We talked about this PlayStation Plus collection stuff.
Yeah.
So they finally announced what people have been waiting for. PlayStation 5, the physical disc drive edition is going to be $4.99.
Mm-hmm.
The digital edition is $3.99.
Mm-hmm.
So that matches up with Xbox for the most part. So Xbox is like that. The Series X is $4.99. The Series S is $2.99. The Series S is weaker than the Series X and the PS5.
Yeah.
Whereas the digital PS5 is still a PS5. It just doesn't have a Blu-ray tray.
And according to Keeley, because I pulled up his Twitter because I wanted to see a few things, the PS1 launched at $2.99. PS2 launched at $2.99. PS3 launched at $5.99. Which is where I get my inflated console release prices from.
But so everyone shit on them for that price.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why no console has gone that high since.
Well, the PS4 launched at $3.99. So
yeah, exactly.
We're at that $3.99 if you get the digital, $4.99 if you get the physical. The difference of $100 for a disc tray is kind of a bummer, but at the same time, I mean,
4K Blu-ray players are not inexpensive.
But also, I feel like they're not $100 either, but they're not going to do a $50 increment on a new console.
Yeah. So, like, it's a reasonable increase, and it does match the Xbox Series X, which we already said. I'm 50-50 on whether or not I want to get the digital or physical. I have my email in at Best Buy so that I can pre-order when pre-orders come out or are available. But I don't know what I'm gonna get. I'm definitely getting it. I don't know what I'm gonna get.
I'm definitely getting the physical. Like, there's no reason for me not to. Like, I've saved up the money to be able to get the console. So, like, I have I have more than I need to buy both of these. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've been, even having been laid off, I had been saving money and holding money together to try to get this. Like, for me, pulling out $250 from, $250 from one saving account and $250 from another saving account seems a lot more, but it is a very reasonable fee for me. Like, I know it's $500 in total, but like, from two separate accounts, $250, it's like, to me, I feel better buying it that way.
Yeah, like, so I save money, like, every paycheck. Like, I have the PNC account too. So, like, I have the two savings accounts. And, like, I put money into that every time. So, like, I've technically been saving up for years.
Yeah.
I don't put much over, but, like, I could conceivably buy one of each of the different variants and, like, be good with just what's in my savings and not empty my savings.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I'm not going to because that's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm going to get the physical PS5 at launch because that is where I get most of my games. And because Microsoft, like, they don't have anything launching, like, in the launch window that I'm interested in that's a Xbox exclusive that isn't going to be on Xbox One that I could play on Game Pass there.
Like, I honestly, this might, like, the launch titles so far, because Keeley did put out a tweet about all of them.
So I was going to get to that in a minute, because that was actually on PlayStation's blog also.
Okay. But, like, of the launch titles, there's, according to Keeley's tweet, there's 5 of them. Like, there's 2, one that I'm definitely interested, another that I'm kind of interested, but, like, I'm more so getting this because I want a more powerful console to run the current games I'm playing, like Avengers and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Games
So-
that are definitely available to be played on the next console.
Yeah, and that makes sense. So just real quick, because you already started on it, the launch lineup, it's Astro's Playroom, which is pre-installed on every PS5.
Mhm.
Right.
Like, that's free, it comes with it, it's supposed to it's more than a demo, but it's basically supposed to demonstrate all the features of, like, the controller and the console and everything like that.
Yeah, they've been doing that since like PS3, kind of, with certain games.
But like, they're normally not pack-ins that
Yeah,
that go with it. Like, this is actually
Yeah.
pre-installed, which is kind of cool. And Astrobot Rescue, I believe it's called, was a PSVR title that people fucking love.
Yeah.
So it's the same studio. If it's the same quality, it'll be a good thing to have on a PS5 when you maybe don't have much else to play on there.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's going to be Demon Souls is launching, Destruction All-Stars, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, and Sackboy: A Big Adventure are the launch titles. Something important to note, Demon Souls and Destruction All-Stars are both $69.99. Miles Morales, the basic regular edition, is $49.99. The special edition, or Ultimate Edition as they're calling it, is $69.99. And Sackboy Adventure is $59.99.
Mhm.
So we're definitely seeing an increase in first-party games as well as some of the third-party stuff that's already been mentioned for next gen.
Yeah.
Which, like, honestly, like, bumping up to $70, like, it's understandable. Like, games
Yeah.
cost more money to make. Like, I'm not upset about that.
And
But it's worth noting.
And with the incorporation of this PlayStation Plus collection, as well as whatever PS Plus games that might be able to be played on there that you already own, like, I really feel confident buying a PS5 day one. You're not going to, like, be like, oh, I've got nothing now.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think happens to PS Plus as far as PS5 games go monthly? So, bear with me here. Early PS4, they were very indie focused.
I was going to say, I think early is going to be a lot of indie games.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised.
Sony's not as focused on that stuff as it used to be. I'm wondering how many of those games are going to actually be there early on.
I mean, I don't know that I agree with that assessment, honestly.
I mean, Nintendo seems more focused on indies than Sony does.
I mean, Spelunky 2 came out this week, only on PlayStation
Is it only on PlayStation?
right now.
So I didn't know that, but also I know Spelunky is an indie game, but that's also a very well-known game.
Sure, so it's still an indie game.
But I think what you're trying to say, Cobb, is it's more of, like, Nintendo has these, like, mini directs, indie showcases, whereas I haven't seen PlayStation promote indie games in a while.
Yeah, like, if you go back to like 2013, 2014, like, Sony was very sort of prominent with showcasing indie titles that they were releasing, whether it was like at E3 or whatnot. And like I've heard on different podcasts and stuff where they're like, "Hey, what happened to Sony doing this stuff?" And a lot of people that were behind that stuff aren't with the company anymore because Sony definitely had a pretty big like mass exodus of executives. And it just seems like the new regime there is more focused in one area, that the old regime was focused in a different area.
Yeah, I mean, at least as far as I'll put it this way. Overall, their marketing of any games on the system is way different than it was for like 3-4 years ago.
No, I mean that is very true.
But I think you can also expect there to be some focus on indie games because right now they have a limited lineup. I feel like the reason you lost focus on indie games is because your lineup got so big. You had so many first party and third party games, and you didn't have to focus on the indie stuff. But now that they only have 5 games at launch, they're gonna want people to buy their PS5s. So they're going to be like, oh, well, check out these indie games that are on here. Or, like, here's the lineup we're bringing from the PS4 onto the PS5. But there's also these indie games. Like, I feel like over the next year, you're going to see some focus on that.
Yeah, you're probably not wrong. I'm just curious to see what they do with PS Plus for, like, the PS5 offerings.
There's going to be a Pixel Junk game, because there's always one at launch.
What was the Pixel Junk game that launched with PS4?
it wasn't Pixel Junk, but it was like, I thought Resogun was part of the same people that made that, but...
No, that was Housemarque.
I think there was a Pixel Junk game shortly after the PS4 launch.
You're probably right.
I can't remember what it was.
Or was it just the collection of the PS3 stuff?
It might have been that, too.
Well, and there's Bug Snacks, like...
That's cross-gen.
Sure, but...
Actually, yeah, you know what? They actually did put a lot of sort of marketing behind that. And that's such a weird game to, like, put that much marketing behind, too.
Right.
Just to finish up kind of the PS5 info, it's launching in the US, Japan, Canada, Mexico, Australia, New Zealand, and South Korea on November 12th, 2 days after the Xbox launch. Mm-hmm. It's launching in the rest of the world on November 19th. I thought this was a little surprising because the people in charge of this stuff now are all based in Europe. So I'm surprised that it's not launching in their territories while it's launching in a bunch of the other major territories.
Oh, I mean, while a lot of the people are headquartered over there, it's by far a smaller market.
Yeah, what is the release window for the Xbox over in Europe?
It's all November 10th.
It's on. I mean, that's interesting to think about at least, but it's...
Drew isn't wrong, though.
Yeah.
Like, I think Europe is probably a smaller market than the US and Japan in particular.
Yeah.
And South Korea.
Yeah.
Whereas Xbox doesn't sell in the Asian markets.
Yeah.
The way it does in the US and probably the UK. Or Europe in general, not just England.
The fact that they throw Australia in there is weird. But, like, because, I mean, Australia...
It's also like $100 more expensive in Australia.
That's because of friggin' importing costs.
Well, I mean, also Australia's money is, or like their dollar is worth very little compared to like everywhere else's, apparently.
Yeah.
But their shit's always more expensive. So, you know, I don't know. They don't have the actual Australian cost on their little infographic. It's just US, Euro, pound, I think that is, and yen. But yeah, so pre-orders for this go up tomorrow, Thursday, September 17th, at select retailers. Mm-hmm. That was also another thing that Jeff Keighley announced for them on Twitter.
He also announced that some retailers are putting them up today.
Yeah, so apparently the official pre-orders are tomorrow. Like, Sony's official pre-order date is tomorrow. Mm-hmm. It's only certain retailers apparently are going to have them. And I saw somebody post on Facebook, it might have been Twitter, that like they reserved it in Ireland at GameStop, like right after the fucking stream.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to probably be a shit show trying to get a pre-order for these things.
Oh, yeah.
And like you can't trust Amazon to get it to you anywhere near release date.
No, that's why I have it pre-ordered. Like, I want to pre-order at, like, Best Buy or Target or something like that.
I'm aiming for Best Buy because I can do the pre-order online, pick up in store.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we now know when the PS5 is launching and how much it'll cost. We'll see if any of us, well, me and Richie, because Drew probably isn't going to deal with it right now, can get a pre-order for it. That wasn't the end of the show, though.
No.
They ended the show by showing us a little icon for God of War, and then telling us that Ragnarok is coming. Mm-hmm. And it'll be in 2021, so just next year.
Yeah, I'm, like, kind of surprised that they've waited this long to show something when it's coming out next year, but at the same time, they want it to be a PS5 thing, so I'm not surprised that they waited this long at the same time. Like,
yeah, and they apparently started working on it as soon as the 2018 game was done, because they didn't do DLC for the 2018 game. I think they added New Game Plus to it.
Yeah.
Do you think if it's Ragnarok, it'll be an action comedy?
I think they're gonna have to go a different route this time. I don't think they're gonna be able to stick with action comedy.
Why not?
It's been done before. It's been done a few times, I think. It's just...
You don't get the joke, do you?
I do. You're talking about Thor.
Yeah. When has it been done other than Thor?
Come up. There's this thing in improv called yes and, where you take what somebody's saying.
We are not an improv troupe.
We're not an improv troupe, but when you try to say something funny, you yes and, you go along with it.
It helps if the thing being said is funny to begin with.
You do what Drew does, you go, Okay.
Or you create a quick bit and maybe it's more entertaining. Like,
no, we're not improv. Like, we don't do bits.
You can.
Also, it's harder to do bits when you don't see each other.
I mean,
it's also harder to yes and off not funny material.
Exactly.
Like, get better material and maybe we can play along with it.
I'm just going off of what you guys are writing and saying. So
yeah, look, that joke wasn't funny to begin with. It didn't need a whole improv thing. It literally needed what Drew did. It needed the but I'm bumps.
Yeah, see, it's not what I play along. I go along with things.
Yeah, but you went down such a bad, like, it was
hard to follow.
Where I wasn't sure if you understood the joke.
That was the thing. I couldn't tell either because you said it's been done a few times. I'm like, did he not get it? I don't know if he gets it.
And that's when you just keep going and see how far it goes down the rabbit hole.
No, that's where you bail, man. That's where you fucking bail. You fucking get out.
So just to wrap up some other kind of like dangling threads for the Sony stuff. They didn't mention backwards compatibility at all. They also, after the fact, it was revealed that Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West, or however they're actually titling it, is also a PS4 game. So it'll probably look good on the PS5, but it's being developed to run on a PS4. So we shouldn't expect it to be like some crazy next-gen game whenever it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And they also revealed the price of the DualSense controller. They are $80.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Like, oh man. I hated buying a second controller with the PS4 controllers. They were $60. I'm probably not buying a second controller for a while.
So I mean that cost lines up with buying 2 Joy-Cons.
I've only ever gotten my.
I'm sorry. I read the wrong line. They are $70. They are $69.99. I was thinking of the Joy-Cons that are $80.
Okay.
Yeah. So the DualSense is $69.99 US. The Pulse 3D wireless headset is $99 US. The HD camera with dual 1080p lenses, for gamers to broadcast themselves along with their epic gameplay moments, $59.99. The media remote for movies and streaming and such is $29.99. And the charging station to charge 2 DualSense controllers at a time, $29.99.
See, I'll probably buy the charging station, and then eventually buy the second controller.
Yeah, $69 actually doesn't seem bad. Like,
no,
$80, I was kind of like,
yeah,
that's a lot. Like, I don't like doing that for the fucking Switch either.
But like, the thing is, and I, like, this is why I kind of exclusively buy Joy-Cons, is because you get 2 controllers, like, for the price of one. Like, $80 for basically 2 controllers, I'm all for. But
yeah, but, I mean, you also are in a situation where, like, you intend to play multiplayer.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
If I don't have to ever use that thing sideways, I don't want to. And you also like the Joy-Con grip.
Look,
that thing is fucking awful.
I don't, look, it's not that I like it. I'm not saying it's the greatest thing in the world. I don't have an issue with it. Like, it doesn't bother me. Like, it doesn't feel uncomfortable to me.
You're broken, man. I've said it before, I'll say it again. You're broken.
You won't get it. Like, I used to play Monster Hunter with what we call the Monster Hunter Claw. It was the
You've said that before.
It is the most pain in the ass thing in the world, but like, it's just, I'm used to having my hands in awkward positions, plus I have these sausage fingers that like, it's not really, I don't find it uncomfortable.
So when I used the Joy-Con grip at your house that one time to do the stuff in Mario World, I was actually having trouble doing the stuff in Mario World because the buttons don't line up right.
Yeah.
And it's not that they don't line up right, like they don't line up right for like what my hand is used to.
Yeah, I mean, that's muscle memory right there. But
it's also just like, it felt bad, to me.
And, like, if you were to use that, like, little, you're talking about the little grippy that I had that's, like, 3D printed?
The thing the thing that you slide the Joy-Cons into, that you had the skin on.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the small little grippies that I use for, like, Mario Kart.
Oh, no, like not the thing that goes onto the Switch when it's in handheld, like the thing that you put the Joy-Cons in to play on the TV.
No, I swear I've showed them to you before. They're little, like, grips that you put the Joy-Con in sideways.
Oh!
It feels more like a controller.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, even then, the Joy-Con, to me, the Joy-Cons are too small to be comfortable holding sideways. Like, it's just, I don't like it. But I never have to do it, so it's not like it's not a point for me.
Yeah.
Like, Erica and I both have Joy-Cons. We don't have to do that stuff. Or, I'm sorry, Switches. We don't have to do that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so the controller, Horizon, I think that is everything for Sony.
That, it was a lot. Sounds like a lot.
This next one is going to be definitely quicker. Just keeping in line with this next gen stuff. It was revealed by Microsoft that the Xbox Series S will not play Xbox One X enhanced games. They will play the Xbox One, S basic version of the games.
Mm-hmm.
So, I realize that, a lot of the enhanced games are the 4K games, and the Series S does not do 4K. But I'm pretty sure some of those enhancements are also for performance and stuff, which is kind of okay, so the Series S can't even handle the performance of the Xbox One X games.
Yeah, and if, basing it off the numbers we were looking at last week, it's not as powerful as an X. One X.
It's because of the teraflops or whatever it is. It's 2
the
teraflops.
The memory and the GPU are all the processors match up. Everything else is a step below.
The Series S is 2 teraflops slower than the One X.
Yes, yeah, I think the Series S. I think is 4 teraflops, and the One X is 6.
Yeah, so that was
isn't it 14 and 16
for.
Not 4 and 6 teraflops, but 14 and 16.
No. So it's the Xbox Series X. Yeah, the Xbox Series X is 12 teraflops. It is double the One X, and the Series S is 2 teraflops less than the One X.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
Yeah, so it was known last week that the system is weaker than the One X. Is definitely weaker than the Series X. Right.
But at this point, they're basically confirming this is basically just a newer box to replace your One S.
Yeah.
It's not something you want to get if you want to play next gen games.
No, it can play next gen games. It is for the casuals, and it is the budget system. Even though it's $300, it is the budget system. That's really all it is.
It's very much in line with, I don't know if you guys remember from the Xbox One reveal, when Don Matrix was out there, and he's like, yeah, for all you guys that don't want the Xbox One, we've got something for you too. It's called the Xbox 360. It feels like that, only they're trying to be hey, here's a box though. It does a little bit better. It's not just the same thing. It's a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be better than the initial Xbox One. It's not gonna be as good as the elite versions of the Xbox One X. But, it's going to be able to play next-gen games, although fairly poorly, I'm sure, come, 2-3 years from now.
Too?
Probably 2-3 years tops, before the thing is fairly obsolete. But...
Go
ahead.
No, I was gonna let you go. Sorry.
I was but we said this last week. You buy if you can't afford the Series X or PS5, you get but you can't afford the PS3 or the Series S. Get the Series S in a year or two when you can save up enough money. Trade in your Series S, get your Series X or whatever enhanced version comes out from that.
I mean, I'd almost argue wait till they launch and then get a One X cheaper because it's got to drop in price at least a little bit. Because at least that thing is going to be closer to the new gen stuff. And Xbox already said, for at least the next year, their games in particular are coming out on both.
Yeah, first party games should be released on both. It should be playable on both. And I think they've been trying to just keep it so that everything moving forward, but definitely first party titles are going to be playable on both for the foreseeable future, I'm sure.
And really, if you don't have an Xbox already, get the nicer Xbox One if you can. If you don't want to spend the $500 on the Series X.
Yeah.
But if you do have an Xbox already, if you can't get a Series X, just don't fucking upgrade. You're actually throwing money away at that point.
Yeah. I mean, I'm honestly considering selling my launch Xbox One because I haven't touched it in 2 years.
Yeah, which, I mean, makes sense. The one thing also worth noting, the Xbox All Access stuff where you can, like, pay monthly to get the console plus Game Pass.
Yeah.
I didn't realize they expanded where you could do that. It's apparently available at Best Buy, Target, Walmart, and Microsoft stores.
Okay.
So, I know when they first rolled that thing out, you could only do it at a Microsoft store. But they've definitely expanded it since then, which makes that a much more viable option. Like, $35 a month, you get a Series X with 2 years of Game Pass and Xbox Live.
I'm gonna be interested to see how Microsoft moves forward with their Project Cloud, and how the Series S runs with the cloud gaming. Cause that's, like, during the trailer, it was like, works well with Games Pass. Or made for Games Pass or whatever.
You mean made for xCloud?
xCloud. Well, it's no longer called xCloud. But like the trailer said works best with Games Pass during like the whole trailer thing for the Series S.
I read that as this is a digital only console. The best thing you can do with this is subscribe to Game Pass, because then you can play all of your games.
Let me rephrase that. It said works best with Games Pass Ultimate, which Games Pass Ultimate is the one that has the cloud gaming beta on it going on right now.
But so again, I understand what you're saying. I don't think that's why they worded it that way. They don't want people to get Game Pass. They want everyone to get Ultimate, because it's the cloud stuff when it fully launches. Because I think it's just beta right now.
Yeah, it's still beta.
But it's Xbox Game Pass, PC Game Pass, and Xbox Live, and they're wrapping whatever EA's subscription thing is into it. That's why they're telling you to get Game Pass Ultimate. That's why their digital only console is best with Game Pass Ultimate. Yeah, not because they want you to play cloud stuff with it.
Right. I don't think that had anything to do with cloud. I think that's, like Cop said, like, why the fuck are you buying this thing and not getting the thing that gives you the digital games?
Yeah.
Because it's digital games, it's playing online, like, it's the two things that a lot of people want to be able to do.
Yeah.
So, because we're talking about all this next-gen stuff, I watched the opposite this week. I watched the High Score documentary series on Netflix.
It's on my queue. I've been thinking of watching that.
So, it's 8 episodes. They're all like 45-ish minutes.
Mm-hmm.
They were really interesting. I know just from having read other stuff that not all of it lines up 100%, but like, it's close enough. They, like, every episode has kind of got like a different topic. So like, there's an episode on like the rise of arcades and sort of how like a group of college kids basically got sued, for modding Missile Command and other arcade games to make them harder to continue to make money.
Mm-hmm.
And then that those same kids got a settlement with, I think it was like Midway or Capcom or whoever like the US distributor was at the time. And they're the ones that coded Miss Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Like, that they came up with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like stuff about the crash of the console market with like E.T. and like interviews with the dude that made E.T.
He wants to be seen on camera talking about that game?
Well, so like he's honest. He's like, look, I was like 25. I had just done this game that actually went over well. They gave me 4 weeks or something. I think it was a little bit more than that. I think it was just under 2 months to make the game from scratch. And he's like, I got to go meet Steven Spielberg. And Steven Spielberg told me he liked the idea. Like,
what even is the idea of E.T.?
I don't think he even knows anymore. Like, Atari games didn't have a lot of, like, concept around them. It was basically like, alright, just point A to point B.
Yeah.
Hit the ball back and forth, like, break the bricks, what have you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had stuff about that. They had the rise of Nintendo and Sega. They had the rivalry between the two. They had an episode on fighting games with, like, Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, and interviews with people all over the place. Like I was saying before, like, interviews with, like, people that were modding games back, like arcade cabinets, and people that made some of these games back in the 80s and even 70s. They had a bunch of people that won different tournaments. So, like, they had the person that won, like, the 1988-89 Nintendo World Championship. They had somebody that won, like, a Sega Championship. They had somebody that won, like, a fighting game championship in the, like, mid-90s in Japan. Like, just all sorts of... It was a lot of interesting things to have on this documentary series. And it's definitely worth watching, even if, like, not everything was 100%. It had a good production value to it, I guess, would be a good way to put it, too.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's 8 episodes. Yeah. And, like, even if you don't care about every episode, you can kind of, like, look at what the synopsis is on each one and be like, oh, I'm interested in that, and watch it.
Yeah, I've seen it's come up, and I've just been like, I kind of want to watch this stuff. I kind of want to learn about this stuff. I feel like it would be me watching it. It's going to be similar to me watching Tiger King, where I space in and out, but I'm still interested.
Yeah, like one of the most interesting ones was the story of Star Fox, like the original one.
Mm-hmm.
So the two guys that basically helped make the original Star Fox, they were two like British dudes who one of them got hired to work for this company, and they didn't have like dev kits. So they actually apparently reverse engineered a fucking Game Boy.
Huh.
Like they just opened the Game Boy up and just started sticking leads to it so that they could send data into it. And they figured out how to make, how to change like the view and do like a first person like starship view like Star Fox on a fucking Game Boy, an original Game Boy.
Wow.
And they got like a cease and desist from Nintendo, but then they brought the guy who figured that out to Nintendo in Japan and hired him, and he recommended somebody else, and they fucking helped make Star Fox.
Nice.
Like, and then, they had John Romero from, the guy that made Doom.
Okay.
Who's just, he seems like such a cool fucking dude.
Yeah.
But he's talking, he's like, yeah, I came into work one day, and John Carmack had just left a fucking disc on my desk that said, it was a character that he had made a game for, like, the month prior, and the copyright infringement. And he puts it in, and it was this character that he made, but Super Mario Brothers. Only it was on PC, and it scrolled. And Drew's watched Super Mario Brothers Special. That game doesn't fucking scroll.
Nope.
That was the issue with PC games back then. You couldn't have levels that moved like that. So John Carmack figured out how to do that, apparently, and that's what gave them the idea to make Doom.
It's pretty neat.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and like, Doom is old enough that, like, oh yeah, no, that actually lines up. Like, that's 100% believable.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely, if you guys have time, and you just, even if you just need background noise, like, while you're working, like, it was a cool thing to sort of, like, watch.
I'll have to check it out when I have time.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of time to watch things right now.
Oh, you just told us that, like, you worked for, like, an hour and a half today.
It's because of the thing I'm watching that we might not talk about this week.
Oh, well, I mean, are you watching that while you're working?
No.
That's what I mean. Like, throw this on while you're working, and you just need, like, background noise.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway, so last Thursday there was a Ubisoft Forward. I don't think any of us are real big Ubisoft fans, so I'm just going to kind of run through this stuff real quick.
There's two things in this that I'm interested in.
All right. So they're remaking Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time,
which I'm definitely interested in. So
it's coming out in January. Mm-hmm. It's only going to be PS4, Xbox, PC, so it's not next gen. While those games were very good back in 2003, this does not look good for a game that is apparently being remade from the ground up.
I haven't watched The Thing. I've only heard that they're doing it. I'm super interested. I should watch The Thing. But like, yeah, Sands of Time was fantastic. If this doesn't look good though, I'm not. There's probably because there's not enough towers to climb.
Yeah. So, well, it's based on it, or I read. I don't know if this is 100% accurate, that they're using the Assassin's Creed engine. And they did say that, like, this is a full remake. Like, they are rebuilding every single piece of this game.
Okay.
And it did not look very good.
I'll have to check it out. A little, I guess, interesting piece of, like, trivia that Eric told me, so I'm not sure how true this is. Apparently, the original Assassin's Creed was supposed to be, like, a Prince of Persia game.
I've heard that before, too. I'm pretty sure that is true.
And, like, you were supposed to be, like, protecting the prince as the assassin, but then they turned it into Assassin's Creed.
I mean, honestly, that would line up a bit. Like, I imagine, like, that may have been the idea, and then they spun that off, and then spun off the 2008 Prince of Persia game around the same time.
Yeah.
But obviously, Assassin's Creed was further along, so that game came out first.
Yeah.
But I have heard that before. Like, that that Assassin's Creed was originally a Prince of Persia title.
Yeah.
They also announced that the Scott Pilgrim beat 'em up from PS3 is being re-released.
I'm gonna get it on Switch.
Yep. So it's coming to all the consoles: Switch, PS4, and Xbox. I think I don't have the date down, but I think it's soon that it comes out.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was like. I'd be surprised if it was more than like a month and a half from now.
Yeah. So it's gonna have all the DLC and everything that released with it, which was like extra characters to play as, if I remember correctly. And you guys might remember or not, like this was delisted from the PS Store like back in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, like you have not been able to purchase this game for at least 6 years.
I did not realize that.
That's why it's kind of a big deal that they're re-releasing it. It's not just that it's being released on other consoles. If you didn't already own it and have it, I don't know if you owned it prior, you could probably still download it, I believe was the deal, but you could not purchase it. It was unavailable to purchase.
I'm gonna have to turn on my PS3 to see if it's still on there.
I mean, it should be, and if it's not, you can download it because you own it. But if you didn't own it, it's just fucking gone.
Yeah. According to Nintendo Life, it's available holiday 2020. So
okay, so sometime in the next few months.
Yeah.
Far Cry is getting a VR version thing. It's going to be based around Far Cry 3, which explains the rumors about the villain from 3, the actor reprising the role.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to come out next year. It is only going to be available at zero latency VR locations, which are like those like room scale like VR arcades.
Weird.
Yeah.
Sounds like I feel like Ubisoft is like looking at Konami and being like, "Hey, gambling at non-console gaming. We should do that."
Well, so the little bit that I read on this, because I didn't care that much, the way that they have made this game, it probably would not go well at home. Like, it sounds like it's a room scale, it's got a certain sort of degree to it, and it needs like a certain level of probably hardware to play smoothly.
Yeah, like they're developing it specifically for these things.
Exactly. So, like, rather than having to try and make something that will work on a less powerful PSVR with no room scale stuff, or something that will play on all the different PC headsets at different PC specs, they're like, yeah, just go to one of these places. It's, $20 and you can play it as much as you want.
Yeah, I mean, like, even before COVID, I'd be, like, hesitant to go to something like this. But, like...
yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, this isn't going to work right now.
Well, and it's not even, like, whether or not it's going to work, or whether or not, like, it's going to be fun. It's more of, like, I don't want to get fucking lice and shit.
So I have heard that these things, like, the people that, like, run these things they're very thorough about cleaning stuff afterwards. So, like, I'm not as concerned about that, but it's more, there's a fucking pandemic going on. No one wants to go pick up a thing and put it on their face that somebody else was wearing.
No, not at all.
Especially not people that play fucking video games.
No.
Nerds are dirty.
You've been to anime conventions. Fucking dirty.
I mean, look, somebody I think it was Sean posted, like, the meme earlier today. Anime fans, they see $3.99 for deodorant. Nope, too expensive. They see $399 for a fucking statue of a girl. Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I have, I'm sorry, there's two more things. That game Gods and Monsters has been renamed to Immortals Phoenix Rises or something like that, but it's not Phoenix like PH, it's like FYNX. Because Monster has a copyright on the word monsters and they didn't like it being in this game title.
Oh my god. Just, call it Monster Energy Drink Gods and Monsters like they did with that fucking motocross game or something.
Yeah, no, it's fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Also, that game got announced a while ago and it doesn't look good anyway. Which is probably why Monster came up and said, hey, we don't want you using this in there. We own the word monster. Fuck off.
We don't want our name associated with this shitty thing.
Yep. And then the last thing is there's going to be a game called Riders Republic, which is a new extreme sports game. It's from the studio that did Steep. I don't know if you guys remember Steep. It was real popular.
I remember SSX.
Yeah, no, that's exactly. So Steep, I want to say it was 2016 E3. That was the one more thing that Yves Guillemot came out and introduced at the Ubisoft press conference.
Mm-hmm.
It was the snowboarding game.
Yeah.
Where, like, during the video, like, the dude definitely died. Like the guy in the game, like he hit a billboard and you actually hear bones crunch and shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The game came out, nobody seemed to play it, and then I'm pretty sure it was free on PS Plus like less than a year after it came out, and nobody continued to play it.
Yeah.
So they have a new game. It's got bikes. I saw bikes.
Interesting.
Yeah. But that was Ubisoft Forward. Hopefully that Prince of Persia remake looks good. Or is good, because it doesn't look good.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So I played the first chapter of Tell Me Why, which is the new game from Dontnod, the guys that made Life is Strange.
Okay.
This one is published by Microsoft, though, so it's only available on Xbox and PC.
Mm-hmm.
But it is available in Game Pass, all 3 chapters. This is probably the best, like, episodic released game I've seen in a long time, like, as far as release schedule goes.
Yeah.
It's 3 chapters. They release them a week apart. So chapter 1 released on the 27th of August, chapter 2 on the 3rd of September, chapter 3 on the 10th of September.
Okay.
They probably did that because Life is Strange 2 had a really shitty release schedule. It was 3 to 4 months between each episode.
Yeah.
It was 5 episodes. The first one released in September of 2018. The last one released in December of 2019. So more than a year for all 5 episodes to release.
That's bonkers.
Yeah. Like, I'm all for, like, episodic games. Like, I don't think they're a bad thing. That's a bad way to do it, though.
Mm-hmm.
Once a week, though, that, like, even once, an episode a month would even be good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I played through the first chapter, 2 to 3 hours average, like that. Those games are, especially if you go around and like look and interact with everything. You play as twins, Tyler and Allison. They have not seen each other in a decade. They're 21, 22, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, about 21. So Tyler spent that decade in what appears to be an upscale, like, juvenile detention center. So he was there until he was 18, and then he actually stayed for 3 more years and, like, worked with other kids that, like, were in that facility.
Okay.
He was there for the death of his mother in self-defense. So that's kind of what the game has going.
Yeah.
So Tyler is trans. And I don't really know a lot about that sort of world. Like,
yeah.
I don't actually know anyone that's trans. Like, I haven't made a new friend in like 15 years though either. So my worldview isn't huge. But like, what I do know and what I've read, it seems like Dontnod is actually doing a very good job with the portrayal here. They, at no point in this game so far have they used what his birth name was.
Okay.
Nobody has called him a girl or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
There have been a few people that... There was one person in particular that was a drunk, kind of like older, douchey kind of guy who made a comment, but then like immediately acknowledged that like, oh man, I'm a fucking asshole, but like, I'm old, so you just have to kind of let me deal with it, and you have you have a dialogue option as Tyler, basically telling him to go fuck himself. Like, no, you don't. Like, I don't have to just deal with it.
Yeah.
Like, you fucking deal with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they did a really good job with that. The actor that's voicing Tyler, I meant to put both actors' names in this, but I forgot to. Is also trans, so he's portraying something that like he's gone through.
Yeah.
The voice actress for his sister Allison is the same actress that did Jessie in Final Fantasy Remake.
Okay.
And like so far, like in those 3 hours, like it's really cool. Like they have a really good dynamic going. The game sets up kind of what the deal is, like right in those first 5 minutes. Like, you know what the deal is with the siblings, why one sibling was away from the other one, and like as it progresses, they elaborate on more things, and they give you a lot of different information. Like, they lead with a lot of stuff that makes it seem like the mom was actually a real piece of shit. But like as the chapter progresses, it's like, or was she not? Like,
yeah.
Like, was she not actually awful, and she actually had like something wrong with her, like some sort of like just mental health issue.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know yet. Like, I'm sure that stuff is what'll come out in chapters 2 and 3. It's set in Alaska though, which is a weird place for it, but also a really cool place for it because it's, you know, it's like this rural small town sort of vibe. The twins are actually going to their home, like their mom's home, for the first time since she died, to clean up the house to get ready to sell it.
Yeah.
And that's sort of where they start finding like these pieces where it's like, were we wrong about this? Like, is this not what really was going on? And the supernatural element for it this time, like Life is Strange 1 had the like rewind, like the time rewind stuff. This one there are points where you can actually, they can remember things, but like physically remember them, like manifestations of the memories will like come to life in front of them, and they'll both be able to see it happening. And they can actually remember both twins' perspectives.
Okay.
So like at one point, like you remember the way the one twin sees it, and then the other twin is like, that's not how I remember it. Let's see if we can get mine. And they get his, and it is different. And then like right after that, you get an option of like, whose memory do you want to go with? Like, who do you think is more accurate here, basically?
Yeah.
Which is actually kind of cool. And then they also have like a psychic bond thing where they can talk to each other like in their heads. And they talk about it early on as it sounded like a very like childhoody thing. Like they were kids. Their mom did everything their mom, like, I'm trying to think of the right way to put this. Any like chores and stuff that they were meant to do, or like stuff they had to do to like get out of the way. The mom made it like a story adventure where like the twins were goblins and they had like this little like fantasy world that they like played in, like all imaginary. Cause they lived in this house like on a lake in like rural Alaska with seemingly no like electronics. I've been in the house. There are no TVs or radios or anything like that. So, you know, like they had to make do with like what they could imagine. So it sounded like this whole them talking to each other was just like a thing that like kids made up. But then like as adults, it's happening to them again. They're like, I kind of thought we just made this up in our head and that we were just misremembering it being children. But like, it seems like maybe it did happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been pretty cool so far though.
Nice.
Yeah, I will probably play through the second and third chapter over this week.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, it's been enjoyable. And like I said, like they're doing a good job with like the mystery to it. Whereas like Life is Strange 1, I feel like wasn't as much of a mystery. Like there were bad things happening and you were kind of dealing with those things and trying to figure stuff out. But this one is like straight up like what happened 10 years ago? Like, let's figure out what happened and what people are hiding from us.
Yeah.
Anyway, GameStop is going to be closing 400 to 450 more stores between this year and next year.
But GameStop still exists.
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane that they're closing that many stores. I didn't even know they had that many stores left.
Oh, they still have tons of stores.
I mean, yeah, there's like 3 in a 5-mile radius for me, I know.
I think there are still 3 in Deptford, right?
There's the one in the Walmart shopping center. There's probably the one in the mall. If not 2, there's at least one in the mall.
There's one in the mall. It's the one by the food court. They closed the other one.
Yeah, they closed.
And then there's the Locust Grove one by the Salad Works.
Yes.
Yeah, so there are still 3 in Deptford, basically on one road.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still. Oh, actually, the one in the Morristown Mall closed. I was going to say there's 2 in Morristown, but the one in the mall closed.
Yeah, because the mall raised their rents for like everything.
I believe it.
But yeah, so the original report back in like March was that they were going to be closing 300 stores. In a recent investor call, though, they increased that number to, I'm sorry, I put by 400, but it's by 100.
Mm-hmm.
Now, GameStop is reporting an 800 increase in online sales over the recent months. But they also took a huge hit when they had to close, like, back in, like, March and April.
Yeah.
And that's taking a hit to a company that is already not doing well.
Yeah.
Right now, they've kind of got all of their entire future pinned on next-gen console sales and whatever they can sell online. So, odds are all the, like, themed store stuff they were planning for a while there is either on hold or canceled.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to see something fun? Go to GameStop.com right now. Both of you, go look at it right now.
Oh, man.
I've been blocked.
Yeah, their website is down.
That's awesome.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Like, I don't know if they're actually being DDoS. If you read the stuff on that comes up on that message.
Yeah, that's what I was just reading.
Or if everyone's just seen the PS5 stuff and are trying to hit there for pre-orders, or what the fuck is going on, but their website is broken.
Which is actually kind of funny.
Because, like, I noticed when Richie talked about possibly selling his original Xbox One, I was curious what the trade-in value was, and B, what they're selling original Xboxes for. And I went and tried to go look, and I was like, oh, look, it's fucking.
That's right. Best Buy is also Best Buy's website is not down, but if you search for PlayStation 5, it is also fucked.
Okay.
I mean, I just went to Best Buy and searched PlayStation 5, and it's
showing you games, right?
Well, at the very top, it shows, now something went wrong when I clicked back.
Exactly. So that's the problem I was having. So the first time I searched PlayStation 5, I actually got a not found page. And then when I redid it, I'm getting games listed, but that banner at the top for pre-order information is gone.
Okay.
That's why I think they were also getting slammed. So
yeah, everyone's trying to get the PS4 or PS5.
Yeah, that's pretty funny though. But so we spent a whole bunch of time earlier talking about digital games and how the three of us don't buy a lot of physical games anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Between so many things going digital, especially after this pandemic, and stores and Sony are removing things like the digital game cards. You can't go into a store and buy a card for a game.
Yeah.
To redeem digitally. Do we even think GameStop's going to be around in the next couple of years?
I would not be shocked if that company goes out of business.
I can see we're already talking about they're going to be closing 450 more stores. I don't really know how many stores they actually have, but I can see them not going completely under, still finding a way to stay open, but not being what they used to be, because they haven't been what they used to be, and they're not going to be what they are now. They're going to be something completely different, still game and nerd related, but different.
Yeah, it's weird because, so I have a little sub-note on here asking if either of you plan on pre-ordering anything from them, but Drew, you said you're not getting you're most likely not getting the new hardware right now, and Richie, you and I both confirmed that we're probably going to Best Buy.
Yeah,
I am super tempted at $400 on the PS5, but I don't know for sure.
But would you go to GameStop if you were getting it?
Maybe. Because I don't know that I want to put out $400 out of my pocket right now, day one.
So Best Buy doesn't charge you until it's released.
Okay. Because
at least that's what their website says.
The thing I did with the PS4 was I put $100 down for the original pre-order, went back every paycheck and tossed $50 or whatever at it.
Which yeah, I mean I've done the same thing for consoles.
Yeah.
It's basically free layaway.
Yeah. I'm actually in a spot where, literally right now, if I really felt like it and wanted to pre-order it, I actually have money to afford shit right now. But
you don't necessarily want to just drop all that.
But yeah, I don't necessarily know that I want to put out, half of what's in my checking account right now for the PS5.
Yeah.
So I appreciate this tweet. So Jeff Gerstmann tweeted this I don't know, an hour ago. I want no games and I must pre-order.
Yeah, it's kind of where I'm at with it. I had kind of hoped the price was higher, so I would be I don't fucking need it. $500 for the digital one, fuck that. I'll wait a year. But at $400, I'm oh, that's exactly the price where I'm on the fence.
Yeah, no, I get that entirely.
I mean, I basically said it when we were talking about it earlier. I want it more to play the games better that I already own, and less to get the new games.
Yeah, exactly. But I think so just to actually circle back to what this whole thing was about, I think it's, honestly, unless something drastic changes, yeah, I have a feeling in the next couple of years, GameStop is just going to cease to exist.
Hey, their stock has gone up from being down to $2.80 a share in April to $8.68 a share right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, they had an 800% increase in online sales.
I might put some money into GameStop just to see what happens.
I think you missed the boat. I think the time to have gotten in was when it was if you were really interested, was the time when it was $2.80.
Yeah. Absolutely. Had I known it was $2.80 a share, I would have gotten 10 shares, $28. Not bad.
I don't think it's ever getting back to $50 or $60 like it was in the early PS3, 360 era.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
like
that's...
no. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how many stores that company has left and what it's going to do in 3 years.
We'll have to just wait and see what Reggie does.
Yeah, I forgot he's on the board there.
Yeah.
But, I mean, honestly, I could see in 3 years both Sony and Microsoft stop selling versions of the hardware that have disk drives.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I could see that too. Especially if they see enough going digital. But it just seems like I feel like physical games people will happily go to their Best Buys and their Walmarts and Targets for, or order them from like your Amazons.
Mm-hmm.
GameStop's big thing is like the used sales.
Mm-hmm.
What was all that weird noise?
It was a bag.
Oh. So, but yeah, like, I don't know, with people not buying as many physical games, there's not as many people to trade in large quantities of physical games. So, they're gonna have less stock, most likely. Like not stock value, like physical stock.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, like, where do they make their money at that point?
Yeah. They're like I said, I don't think they're going to go under within like 2-3 years, but like maybe in like 20, probably you won't see a GameStop. But I feel like over the next couple of years, they're gonna make some changes and change face drastically to have different kind of stock.
And that's the thing, like, I don't know, so, I don't think, it doesn't seem like their, like, Think Geek stuff sells all that well in stores.
Probably not, no.
No.
So it's one of those, it's like, what are they gonna sell? Like, that's why, like, I could see those stores being gone in the next 5 years. Like, I think they'll have a digital presence still. But I think, like, their retail stores might be gone.
Maybe.
Anyway, in better news, I guess, DC did a second fandom this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing of note that I saw come out of it, though, the Flash movie is now confirmed to be rebooting the DCEU.
Okay.
It's been rumored and speculated to hell, especially since it's Flashpoint, but, like, they have actually come out and said it now. So it's being compared to the Star Trek, reboots from J.J. Abrams, where it gives them, like, a new course to take the movies, but it doesn't erase the decades of stories that came before it.
Yeah, except this was really the 5 years of story that came.
Exactly. But so producer Barbara Muschetti, I'm gonna go with, said the following: I want you to go see it, so I'm not going to tell you a lot, but what I will tell you is that it's a ride. It's going to be fun and exciting, and there are a lot of DC characters in it. Flash is a superhero of this film because he is the bridge between all of these characters and timelines. And in a way, it restarts everything and doesn't forget anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just going to be 2 Batmans. There's apparently going to be a lot of DC characters, which is cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's definitely rebooting. And then we also got a quote from Andy Muschietti, the director, who said, our movie Flash is based on Flashpoint, but it's not going to be exactly like Flashpoint. Our movie is inspired by the original comic book saga. So, you're going to find a lot of surprises and new events and a lot of thrilling things that are not in the comic book. So, I'm thinking that they're going to probably straddle a line someplace between what the comic did and what the TV series did.
Yeah.
Where, like, different Earth, different set of circumstances, but maybe not the kind of world-shattering changes that Flashpoint did, where, like, Themyscira and Atlantis were at war, and Superman didn't exist. He was kept in a fucking bunker, and
Mm-hmm.
Batman was fucking Thomas Wayne and was just murdering people.
Yeah.
So that would be cool. Like, I don't know.
It might do something similar.
Dude, fucking Mike, I mean, they've already confirmed that they're playing their existing Batmans, but fucking Michael Keaton as Thomas Wayne to Ben Affleck as Bruce, that'd be fucking cool.
I said that last week. And
Did you? I don't remember that.
And you actually were like, no, they can't do it because he already said he's going to be his original Batman.
I mean, they did, and that's a bummer.
Yeah.
I don't remember you saying that, though, either.
Yeah,
I apologize.
I said that last week.
But, like, that would be cool. It's just, they won't do it because there's like, oh, nope, he's Bruce and he's Bruce. They're 2 different Bruces.
Yeah.
Also, there was never a Martha in any of those movies.
No.
So, like, there's not, like, a character where you could have it be Martha and have her be the Joker.
Yeah.
Because that's actually the story I'd love to see, like, actually in a movie.
Yeah.
You watched the Flashpoint animated movie, right?
I did, yes. It was one of the first DC animated movies I had watched when I started watching a bunch of them.
Yeah, the whole, like, Batman-Joker dynamic in that world is just fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. It sounds like, although they're doing Flashpoint, they're trying to also do Crisis on Infinite Earths with this. Like, they're trying to bring in all these different universe Batmans and shit like that. And all these,
or at least, if not Crisis on Infinite Earths, at least one of the Crises.
Yeah.
Because there's been 7 or 8 of them.
Yeah. And it's just like, you guys gotta figure out what you want to do. Like, I'm all down for you doing Flashpoint, but if you're gonna do Flashpoint, but Flashpoint is actually Crisis, it should be called Crisis, not Flashpoint. It's just, for me, continuity's sake. Like, Flashpoint is Flash going back to rescue his mom and not creating creating an alternate timeline, not going to new universes.
So, they did at least in Justice League set up that, you know, Barry's dad is in jail for the murder of his mom, and that Barry was studying to get into, like, forensics.
Yeah.
Because at the end of The Flash, he goes to his dad with the, or I'm sorry, not at the end of The Flash, at the end of Justice League. He's got, like, the paper saying he's going to the Central City PD or whatever.
He became a forensic scientist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could still be he tries to reset the timeline to resurrect his mom, and that's how he fucks everything up. And it just, rather than it just being the timeline is altered, like, up front, maybe they make it more of the timelines start collapsing on themselves. And then when he fixes it, that's where the timeline becomes something different. And we get Rob Pattinson's Batman instead.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only thing I can think, at least.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so you watched Infinity Train?
Yeah, it was a Cartoon Network show. I've only, prior to watching it this weekend, I'd only ever seen one episode. And it was like a few episodes into the actual, like, season that I had seen.
How old is it?
Not old. I think they're still making new seasons. Like, it is an HBO Max original now. So, like, the Cartoon Network series started, like, 2, maybe 3 years ago. And the third season, the current season, is an HBO Max original. So, like, they directly continued off of it but just kind of, like, with different characters, sort of. But it's... Okay. Yeah. It's really cool. It's, I believe it was made by the same guy who made, Adventure Time. Or no, Steven Universe. It's made by the same guy who made Steven Universe, which I hear is also...
Regular show.
Did he also do Regular Show?
It's not the guy that did Steven Universe. It's the guy that did Regular Show.
Oh, okay. Because
I'm on the Wikipedia page.
The art style is very similar to Steven Universe, which is why it made me think of that. Like, the character, the characters look very similar to Steven Universe characters.
Okay, so I'm reading the Wikipedia a little more thoroughly now. So it's Owen Dennis is the creator of this show. Mm-hmm. He was a writer and storyboard artist on Regular Show.
Okay.
And now he is the creator of this.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know if you agree or not, but I feel like all of those, like, Cartoon Network shows over the last, like, decade, they all kind of look the same. Like, they have their own specifics, but they all kind of look the same.
I don't know. I can't agree with that. Like, Regular Show is like, to me, if I were to look at Regular Show and look at Infinity Train, two completely different looks and two completely different stories and shows. So, like, I can't really say that, like, they all look the same. Like, I know you're maybe thinking, like, Gumball and Regular Show.
So I'm thinking, like, Adventure Time, Regular Show, and Steven Universe. To me, they all look very similar. To be fair, I also don't think any of them are good. So
I can't agree with Steven Universe, Adventure Time, and Regular Show all looking the same. They have, to me, they're each complete, distinct, different art styles. Like, again, Regular Show and Gumball, probably I can see the similarities.
I don't even know what Gumball is.
Gumball is weird. It's, like, I can't even explain it. The main character is blue. He's kind of like a bunny or something. I don't really know. I don't like Gumball, but I've seen a few episodes of Regular Show. I think it's okay. I've seen a few episodes of Adventure Time, and I want to watch more of it. There's so many. Like, when I say there's so many of it, there's not a lot, but it's like, it's a lot more childish that, like, I don't really want to fully get into that.
I don't know.
I've seen
every episode of Adventure Time I've watched, I've absolutely loved.
It's what it is it's like, it's not that I don't like it, but it's more of, like, the show is more geared toward children and less towards, like, maybe, like, children and adults, and, like,
I think you're vastly underrating the amount of adult humor in that cartoon.
There's no, from what I've seen, there's no overarching story. It's kind of like Rugrats, where each episode is one in its own. Like, maybe later on it does get, like, a cohesive story, but, like, when I say, like, a cartoon is very childish, to me, it is, each episode is just itself. And that's it. It's a self-contained universe for each episode.
It's not exactly that way.
Yeah, but, like, I've only seen, like, maybe half the first season, if that. I don't even know.
I mean, I haven't watched a ton of episodes. No, it's not a, like, anime-style progressive story over 300 fucking episodes. But also, it's not like, here's an episode that has zero to do with anything else that's ever going to happen.
But you can watch that episode and not need to know everything because the episode is self-contained.
Right.
You can jump into Adventure Time halfway through the series, continue watching it from there, and not really have missed anything because it's all kind of self-contained. Yes, there is overarching story throughout, like there's a world in this series and there's a world built, but, like, you're not necessarily missing anything if you were to start watching halfway through and then continue from there and not watch the beginning of it.
Yes.
But, I believe, like, Steven Universe is different, and Infinity Train is the same way, where, like, and again, I've never watched Steven Universe. I want to. I hear it's amazing. I believe it's on HBO Max, so I might watch it soon. But, like, Infinity Train, it starts off the first episode, it follows the girl, what's her name? It's a flower.
Lily.
Is it Lily? I think it is
I
Lily.
don't know. You said it's a flower. I just said a fucking tulip.
Tulip.
Whoa.
It's Tulip. I believe it's Tulip.
I've opened the Wikipedia page back.
Yeah, it is. So it follows her where she's all excited because she gets to go to computer programming camp for the week or whatever. Like, it's like winter, like summer camp, but it's computer programming camp. She's super excited, and then her dad turns around and is like, I can't take you. And you find out that her mom and dad are divorced, and she's all upset and angry, so she runs away to go to computer programming camp herself because no one could take her. And she gets to a train station, and there's a train on there, and she steps on it. Like, that's the first episode. Like, the train really has nothing to do about it till the end of the first episode. And then from there, like, the next episode, she wakes up, she meets this strange little robot dude, and she finds out she has a glowing number on her hand. But she has no idea what the number is. The robot dude doesn't really know anything. He's kind of both doofy and melancholic at the same time, because he's, like, two of the same. Like, he's two halves of a sphere. So one half is, like, goofy and silly, the other half is melancholic and downer. And she has to basically wander through this train trying to figure out how to, like, what her number is, and her number goes down as she does stuff, and like, figure out what's going on in this train. And the whole first season follows Tulip, who is voiced by Ashley Johnson. I don't remember any of the other voice actors on the series, but I do know Ashley Johnson because of Critical Role.
Ernie Hudson and Kate Mulgrew do a couple character voices.
Yeah. There's who's the British guy? I know that says a lot. Cobb, you watched some of Ultron, right?
Yeah, You mean Voltron?
Voltron, yeah, Voltron.
Yeah, but I only watched the first season. However many years ago that was.
The male guy that's from, like, the male alien dude who's like the servant to the princess.
Honestly, like, what was that? 5 years ago?
I can't. I think he did a voice.
Do you know what character he would have been?
I can't remember what character he was. But like I remember him hearing his voice a few times. Like, I think he was a recurring character. At one point, one of the main characters is a corgi, and he's fucking adorable. and he's the king of Corginia. And so the thing about this train is every car on this train is like a different kind of universe. So one of the cars she went into was grid patterned, and as she stepped on each grid, like a block came up, and you could like build things with it, like building blocks. On one of the later seasons, one of the cars they went into was just completely empty white space car, and right in the middle there's a toad, and it says "kick the toad to open the door," and that's it. So like some of the cars have like puzzles to try and figure out how to open the door. Other cars are just like, one of the cars was a full-on carnival, and they just got to hang out at a carnival. And it's just like, the train is, from its name, infinite. Like it's always driving, it never stops, and it like has endless cars. And basically, you find out throughout the series that the idea is, you have to figure out how to handle your own problems outside of the train to get your number down, and once your number gets down to 0, you're allowed to leave the train. And it's
okay.
And it gave me a very like child-friendly Stranger Things vibe to it because of the cartooniness and like the silliness that happened. Season 3 took like kind of a slightly darker turn, but it followed some darker characters. There is this group of kids who call themselves the Apex that didn't know that you're supposed to get your number down and thought you were supposed to get your number up as high as it can go. To get your number up, you do bad shit. You be a bad guy basically. And so they wander the train being bad and trying to get their number up. Like, eventually your number would start going up your arm and around your neck and things like that. It's just a glowing green number that covers your full body. And so, like, season 3, like, kind of took a darker, more, like, stranger tone to it, but it was still really, it's fascinating. And it was, like, it's an easy watch because each episode is about 15-20 minutes long because it's one of those Cartoon Network shows that would show 2 episodes at a time. And it would, each episode would follow itself, and, like, her number would constantly go down. Like, they made it a point to show, like progression, and make you actually feel for some of these characters. It's just, I really liked it. The art was pretty cool, too. It's an interesting show that, like, especially season 1, if you want to see what a corgi who's royalty would act like, you got that right there. And I liked it.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, check it out. Like I said, it's on HBO Max, and I watched it in an afternoon. Like,
oh wow.
Yeah, I think it was Saturday. I played Avengers in the morning, and then sat down and was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna watch an episode or 2 of this. And then, like, 6 hours later, I'm like, oh, I finished it. Okay.
Yeah, from what I read on Wikipedia, it's 30 episodes, 3 seasons. The first season aired in 2019. Mm-hmm. The first 2 were on Cartoon Network, like you said. The third one moved to HBO Max.
Yeah.
And the third season just aired on HBO Max back in early August.
Yeah. And so the third season doesn't have Ashley Johnson, but both of Ashley Johnson's characters kind of left the train, and so the entire series is about the train, so it makes sense that Ashley Johnson wouldn't be in it. So, but it felt like you tend to meet a character each season that the next season's going to follow. So, like, season 1, you follow Tulip, and at one point she goes onto this car that's like a mirror universe, and, like, the mirror people can come out of the mirror if, like, they step in a certain way or whatever. And so Mirror Tulip comes out and, like, tries to run away and then is being tracked by the mirror police. And so, like, the whole episode happens where, like, Tulip ends up rescuing her and letting her out. Like, it's her reflection is what she's supposed to be. And, like, then Mirror Tulip's like, alright, well, I want to go and be my own person. So that's what she did. And then season 2, you follow Mirror Tulip and, another boy who is on the train trying to get his number down. And during season 2, you meet the Apex and the leader of the Apex. And then you follow the Apex in season 3. So, like, I'm guessing if there's a season 4, it's probably going to continue to follow the Apex because that storyline didn't really clear up. But it might also follow a different character that was introduced that was kind of also introduced in season 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just quick little side note. It looks like GameStop is back up, and they have pages where you can pre-order PS5s, including a bunch of online-only bundles, that include, like, a game and, like, a PSN card and controllers and headsets for absurd amounts of money. The links so far keep failing, and, like, the site keeps crashing, though. And Best Buy's site is just fucked at the moment, also.
Yeah.
Yeah, fun times.
I just searched PS5 Best Buy, and there is now a spot where you can click PS5 consoles. And I click that, and it says, we're sorry, something went wrong.
Yeah, but even then, like, if you just go to Best Buy and then click on video games, the video games page at Best Buy is fucked. Like, there's nothing there. At least for me. So, fun times. Are you all done talking about Infinity Train, though?
Yeah. Just go watch it. Check it out. It's not a hard watch, and it's pretty entertaining.
I probably will not, since you described it as similar to those other Cartoon Network shows that I really dislike. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. Like, it's good to find those quick little shows to enjoy.
Yeah, and it's like, it's something that, like, alright, now I'm kind of excited to see season 4, if it comes out. Just like I'm still sitting here patiently waiting for season 3 of Cobra Kai.
Yeah, I'm waiting on that too.
Actually, I should say impatiently waiting. It needs to be out now.
So I actually watched a couple of movies this week. Or a few movies. There were 3 of them, not 2 of them. It's mostly like movies that fall in the horror genre, because it's that time of year. So over the weekend, we rented The Rental on Amazon. It just came out recently, like earlier this year. It was directed by Dave Franco.
Okay.
I think he also has a writing credit on it, and Alison Brie is one of the stars of it.
Okay.
So it's about 2 couples rent a house, like Airbnb style. It's like a beach house in Oregon. It's definitely like either mid-fall or like early spring, because like it's cold. Like they're all wearing hoodies and stuff when they're outside. But it's not like winter.
Yeah.
Like there's not a lot of snow and stuff. And granted, like, I don't know what Oregon looks like in the winter. Like, maybe it doesn't get snow. Who fucking knows? It's Pacific Northwest. That place is weird. But, like, the dude that they rent the house from is definitely kind of a douche. And also definitely racist.
Okay.
One of the females in the 2 couples is, like, Indian descent, Middle Eastern descent. I don't think they ever specify. But, they make it very clear that she tried to rent this house for, like, the exact weekend with the same group, and was declined. One of the guys then went on and booked it and was immediately approved.
Okay.
But basically, like, you know, they're doing their thing, they're doing drugs, they're having fun, and then one of them finds a little tiny hidden camera in the shower, and things just fucking spiral from there. And it definitely went in a direction I didn't expect.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't bad, but I wouldn't call it good either. It felt like he was trying to do too many different things with, like, that genre of movie, and it could never really settle on what it wanted to be.
Yeah.
But if it ever goes, like, free on Amazon Prime or, like, Netflix or whatever, it's definitely worth killing, like, an hour and a half watching it.
Okay.
And then the next one I watched, it's called The Autopsy of Jane Doe. It's on Netflix. It released in 2016. It stars, Emil Hirsch, who was Speed Racer back in, like, 2005. And Brian Cox, who, the 2 things I know him from most are, he's the captain from, Super Troopers, and he was Stryker in X2.
Yeah.
So, you know, I only know him from things from the early 2000s.
Emil Hirsch, Speed Racer, that is a blast. Like, Jesus Christ, I forgot that existed.
Yeah. But so, they play a father and son. The father is a coroner, and the son is like a medical technician, like a coroner's assistant sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like it's like the family job, basically. Like, it sounds like, the grandfather did it, so the father did it, so the son is doing it.
Yeah.
They have I don't know what that place is, a morgue. Like, they have like a morgue place, it seems to be under their house.
Mm-hmm.
That is actually quite, like, elaborate. And so the movie opens up with, like, cops investigating a very gruesome murder scene where, like, this whole family is just fucking destroyed. Like, blood everywhere, brains, dead bodies, body parts, all sorts of shit. And as they're doing that, they then find a half dug a hole in, like, the yard, and they find, a naked woman's body buried in it. but like she's dead, but there's no obvious signs of anything. Like she's totally fine other than being dead.
Yeah.
So it's one of those like very last minute autopsies that they come in for. Like the cops bring the body in, they're just like, "Hey, we need this done like tonight." So the father agrees to it, and the son's actually getting ready to leave, but comes back. He was supposed to go out with his girlfriend, but like comes back to help instead.
Yeah.
And from there, like shit just gets wild. Like it's one of those movies where the whole thing takes place basically in one room with just a little bit of variation. Like they're in a hallway in like one other room basically.
Mm-hmm.
But it's super creepy and really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I would definitely recommend checking it out.
Yeah.
I don't want to give anything away because that'll ruin the movie, but it definitely goes from like, this feels like a murder mystery to like, oh, there's some supernatural weird shit going on.
Yeah.
And then the last one I watched was called The Babysitter.
I wanted to watch this when this first came out.
Yeah, so it's a Netflix original. This one came out in 2017. There's a sequel that just came out like earlier this month.
Okay.
And I saw the sequel is in like the top 10 on Netflix or whatever right now.
Yeah.
And I've seen people mention this one a bunch recently. So I asked Erica if she wanted to check it out because I keep seeing people talk about it, and I didn't know what it was until like this week.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a kid who is too old to have a babysitter, like 100%. They say he's 12. He's definitely like 14. Like, but like he's kind of a nerd. He gets picked on, but he's actually has a very close relationship with his babysitter, who is, I'm assuming the actress is supposed to be playing like 17, 18-year-old, like a high school senior or something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember the actress's name. She's been in a bunch of other stuff. She was actually just in, she plays, Ted's daughter in Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Okay.
The blonde daughter, basically. But it turns out she's like the leader of a satanic cult who wants to sacrifice people to get wishes. And like, it goes from like, kind of like, cheesy, like, teen comedy without being like not raunchy teen comedy, but like, you know, just cheesy comedy movie.
Yeah.
To like, what the fuck is going on? Like, real hard, real fast.
Yeah.
It's got a ton of fucking people in it though. And I forget all their fucking names. Robbie Amell is in it.
Okay.
Have you guys seen Pitch Perfect?
Yes.
The one girl, she's the Asian girl that doesn't speak. She like whispers everything.
I feel like I should know who that is.
Like if you saw her, you'd be like, oh, her.
Yeah.
She's in it. Ken Marino, who is, he's like a comedian. He's been in a bunch of stuff. Like he's been in episodes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He was one of their replacement captains at one point.
Okay.
Like just a lot of like people like that. Like people that like you look at and be like, I know that fucking guy, which was cool. But it's definitely like it's not a spoof. It's not like a scary movie, but it's definitely like a tongue-in-cheek, like thriller, like horror slasher movie.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was actually, it's not long. It's like an hour and 25 minutes. And after watching that, I definitely want to watch the sequel now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they were all...
The babysitter looked absolutely ridiculous when I saw the trailers for it. I never got around to watching it, but it looked absolutely insane.
Yeah, no, it 100% is.
Yeah.
Like, and the way people fucking die in this, it's just one of those, it's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, it's Home Alone cranked up to 13. Like, somebody gets exploded underneath the house. Like it's like a person's head literally gets blown up at one point. It's just, yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun though. It was definitely a fun one.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's that. We've been going a while. Do you want to talk about Supernatural now, or do you want to watch some more of it before you talk about it? Since there's 360 episodes, I think you said.
Yeah, there's 360 episodes. I'm just gonna quickly say I started watching Supernatural, so anybody who listens who's a fan of Supernatural or who hasn't, you can watch along with me if you want. I'm trying to average about 2 to 3 episodes a day, but like might not get that far. At least an episode a day. I just made it through the episode where they went back to their home, to their childhood home, in season 1. So someone who has watched it might not remember this episode, but it is kind of a key episode for that first season. But I think, yeah, I was like halfway through the episode after, but I just wasn't paying attention, so I decided to stop watching and start back up later. So far, it's good. I'm told by several people that I'm in for a ride.
So, I have 3 quick questions.
Mm-hmm.
1, why did you decide to start watching Supernatural?
I don't know. I was watching something, and it, like, I was scrolling through Netflix, and I was like, you know what? Better now than never. Like, I've got the time, kind of, because of COVID and everything. Might as well just watch it.
That's fair. Yeah, so question number 2, how does it hold up being 15 years old in the first season?
So, visually, it's very gritty and grainy. I don't know if it's style choice or the cameras they used. And it's a very, like, dark coloration. I'm not used to something like this from a CW show.
So, the first 6 seasons are WB.
Yeah, I know that. But, like, I think it holds up well enough. Like, they're using non-common technology with, like, the ghost and spirit detecting stuff that, like, it works. It works.
Okay. And then the last question. I've always heard that, like, the first, at least, season is super campy. Is that the case?
Yeah. I mean, they had a episode for Bloody Mary.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know much about that show, but, like, from what I gather, once the show kind of got going, it got much more, like, serious.
Yeah.
But, like, at least the first season, maybe the first few seasons, it was, like, super, like, goofy and campy.
Yeah, I mean, it's the actors getting into their characters and trying to figure out what the show's actually going to be. That, yeah, it is kind of very campy at times.
Okay. Yeah, I was curious. I've thought about starting it a few times, but it's one of those things where it's not a 15-year-old show, it's a show that went on for 15 seasons. It's a lot of hour-long episodes to watch.
Yeah. 360 hours. But you know what? I watched every episode of Critical Role, so I think I've got this.
So, since it's 15 seasons, let's do this. Every time you finish a season, we'll set aside a little time to talk about so that you can talk about Supernatural.
Alright, that sounds a bit reasonable.
Rather than, like, every week come in and be like, I watched 3 more episodes of Supernatural or whatever. It's like, okay, I finished season 1.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to talk about it all the time. I just more so wanted to say that I started it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I figured that, but if you actually keep to your, like, watching it regularly, and you do watch all of it, like, you figure, like, every 22 episodes, like, just doing, like, a little bit, like, season 2 was much better than season 1.
Yeah.
Season 3 was really bad. Like, that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Well, I guess that is probably it, unless, Drew, do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Nah, I got nothing here.
Are you going to start watching Supernatural next?
Fuck no.
What if they added, like, baseball to it?
No.
Right,
Then it's just becoming a little too much like Twilight.
That's right, there was a baseball
there was a fucking baseball scene in Twilight.
Huh. Alright then. Well, yeah, that'll do it for this week then. If you want to find more of our content, you can head over to www.one-quest.com. If you'd like to help us out by supporting us, you can do so at patreon.com/onequest. If you can't support us there with dollars, you can support us by going to your favorite podcast platform, like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, etc. Subscribe to us, review us, rate us, all that stuff. It helps. You can find us on social media, facebook.com/onequestonline, or at @1_quest on Twitter and Instagram. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/onequestvideo, and you can send us emails to social@one-quest.com. And yeah, we'll be back next week with something else to talk about. Thanks for listening. Bye.
See you.
Bye.